Oh, I see. So do I have to start the live for it to go over here? I'm trying to figure this out. I was trying to wait to see if you guys would appear in the chat without me starting it, or does it happen after I start it? I still don't know. Because as soon as I press go live, you guys popped in. So I don't know if you were there before. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm just gonna do audio today because I'm just gonna be reading. I want to finish the Kohbergers, and I figured, you know what, I want to put it full screen up on the screen, the reading, and we'll finish her up. We'll definitely finish them up today. They haven't added any new stuff, and I have my files requested for the other stuff. I don't know what's going to be available, but the stuff on the site is still the same stuff. So we'll see. Let me take a sip of more water. So we are going to finish it. Hey, Jade. Hey, Secret. Forest Creature, Cicely, Marnie, Rogue, Ember. Where does that name come from, Ember? Or Casey? Like, what is it from? What does it mean? I'm keeping on my air today because I am a short. All right, so let me share my screen. We'll just get right into it. Finish them up. We still have quite a few to read, but we'll definitely get them done. I don't even think we have as much as we had last time. So I mean, I bet I'll be able to get them done in a couple hours or so. Let's do it. All right, so I'll move you guys over here, and we are gonna start it up. I'm just gonna make it full screen. You know what? I don't even have to. Hold on. There we go. Well, let me see when I zoom in if it's gonna cut off. Yeah, I'll just take mine away. Hello? Okay. I'll just take this away. I'll just testing out something. Don't make fun of me. Okay. All right, let's do this. Look how big it is. What did you guys think, real quick? The freaking tailorship business. I could kick myself in the butt because if I would have probably contacted her last year when I was supposed to contact her, I probably would have been talking to her. I don't know why I kept putting it off because I wanted it to be like the perfect letter. But then I was thinking of it yesterday. I was just listening to The Long Crime. I'm like, dude, I could have just wrote something really quick. Hey, do you want to do an interview? Instead of freaking having Long Crime, who gets everything. I'm kind of mad because I feel like she would have talked to me. She was actually waiting for me to write her. I mean, he told her I was going to write her tailorship business, and I never got to it. Oh well, it's pretty crazy, but um, you guys ready? No, it just starting. The definitive clue. The what do you mean? The definitive clue is the DNA on the sheath, Sicily, in the car. Well, the sheath is what really got it to him. But then they said they probably would have found him anyway with the car. But oh, she is. But I like if I would have. It was probably what, a year ago. He told me, okay, write her. And the reason I think I did put off writing her is because supposedly at one point she was like in confinement where she couldn't even talk to anybody, like she wasn't getting mail or anything. So I was like, okay, I'll wait because she's not like she won't get to be able to get my mail anyway. But I was thinking I should have just gave the collector my phone number and had her call me, but it's too late now. I just got to act quicker. I could still probably reach out to her, but oh, how'd they get the DNA to match him? Because they did one of those genealogy, if there's if there's relatives, yeah, if there's like relatives that turned it in, I'm pretty sure, right? um and then they were able to see that it fit. It was a relative of, how did they do it? They had his car because on December, I think December, you'll see somewhere in December where they matched the car because it got they were looking at, remember they were looking at all the Hyundai Elantras that were white, and they were taking like passes from like the Idaho University. Then they were going to Washington. He was in Moscow. I think he was in Moscow. I think we're going to come to it and read it, where they took they found his license plate reader on something, and then oh my god, I sound like an idiot right now. And then they ended up pulling him over right after that. Remember, he got that ticket in Moscow. Well, he didn't get a ticket; he got a warning. So it matched. So right there, it matched the car. But I think what they did is the genealogy thing. They put in the DNA, and it matched. It matched where they get a relative, and then they were able to match it then with okay, this guy Bryan Kohberger, he's at Washington. He's close. He has the white car. So then they went and got from the dad, the DNA. Is that what you mean? I can't put it into words right now, but I know I wasn't expected to think. Okay, let's go. Well, but we are going to go over, we will get to that one where it talks about him getting pulled over and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's on this batch because I was looking over him earlier. Okay, on what? So you guys ready to start? All right. On 11/13/2022 at approximately 12:05, I arrived at 1122 King Road, reference an unconscious subject. It was quickly determined the scene was likely a quadruple homicide based on our observations. When I arrived on the third floor to assess the scene, I noticed a medium-sized, curly-haired, tan dog on the bed inside the western third floor bedroom. Oh, poor Murphy. Later identified as Kaylee Gonzalez's room. So Murphy's just sitting on the bed. The dog appeared timid, scared, and didn't react to our presence. Due to the chaos surrounding the scene, my initial concern was preserving the scene. As part of the process, I asked one of the officers to shut the door so the dog did not attempt to jump on the bed with any of the victims. Murphy was so scared. Like, he's probably like, what the heck's going on? What I want to know is, was Murphy outside all that night because the door was left open? And he did, and how crazy that he didn't go in the room. Like, Kaylee is his dog. You think he would have went looking for Kaylee and would have jumped on the bed, but there was they said he had no blood on him or anything. It just boggles my mind that a dog wouldn't have went to its human and like try to like jump on it. He wouldn't have known like blood, you know what I'm saying? He would have known something's wrong, but he wouldn't have he would have tried to jump probably on the bed and lick or whatever he does and try to like see what's going on. It's so weird that he didn't. I don't get it. Because now we see that it doesn't look like he was locked in the bedroom. They're the ones that shut the bedroom door. Anyway, after the area was cordoned off and the area was secure, Corporal Snyder began taking photos of the scene. At some point prior to the process, the dog was moved from the bed to under the desk in Kaylee's. Oh, it wasn't moved. It moved. The dog moved from the bed to under the desk in Kaylee's room. He's probably so scared. So scared. No, I think what happened, Amber, is because people that arrived after, like, think about this. This guy shut the door. So anybody arriving after him they are going to put in their reports, the door shut. It just depends when people arrive, is what I think. So he didn't know, like, they didn't all get together and be like, that door, you know what I'm saying? Probably not all, they probably didn't catch everybody. So anybody arriving after this guy would have seen a door shut and been like, oh, the door was shut. That's what I think. I don't think it was shut I'm not thinking it was shut when it happened. I think Murphy was outside. The door was wide open. I wonder if Murphy was outside. Anyway, so he moved under Kaylee's desk. After photos were completed, I asked LCSO Deputy Olson to respond and assist by taking the dog to the Humane Society of the Palouse for safekeeping. I collected the dog from under the desk. The dog was timid and took some coaxing to move from under the desk, but did not appear to have any obvious injuries or stains on its body or paws. Due to the amount of blood inside the bedrooms where the victims were located and the lack of blood on or around the dog, I don't believe the dog was on or around the victims. I walked the dog to the front door where the Officer Warner was stationed and asked him to hold on to the dog until Deputy Olson arrived. A short time later, Deputy Olson arrived. I walked the dog from Officer Warner to Deputy Olson, who was standing in the street at my request. Deputy Olson transported the dog to the Humane Society. I asked Deputy Olson to write on the intake sheet for the Humane Society to not release the dog to anyone unless the MPD gave approval first. After I released the dog to Deputy Olson, I resumed managing the scene until I was relieved by the detective. I did not take any photos of the dog specifically during my response to the scene. Some of the photos taken by Corporal Snyder have the dog in the background. The dog can also be seen on my body-worn camera. In reviewing Officer Nunez's body-worn of his initial response and clear of the residence, the door to Gonzalez's room was open upon his arrival and the dog was laying on the bed. See? Oh, shoot, let me take this down. See, he's saying it was open when he got there. I certify or declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law, blah, blah. I never heard it was shut. I was always wondering why they didn't say. And I think what happened, Casey, is like some people were just, you know how people will take one thing that they think and then they'll pass it off like it's a fact. And I think that's what happens a lot. And I think that's what happened with the door shut, door open. Some people were just like, no, I think the door was shut. No, it was open. I never seen in anything when I was going through it, because I always wondered, remember, I always questioned, was the door open or shut? Because it never said, nobody ever said officially. Well, now we're hearing, from what I'm hearing from these documents, it was open. So now we're getting some answers. And I do think the dog was outside some of the night. I do, maybe not the whole night, but now that I realized the door was open. Remember, Maddie was looking for Murphy right before, late. Remember, I don't know if they ended up if they ended up finding Murphy before they went upstairs. Did they? I don't know. I know they said that they were she was dancing with the dog or something, but I feel like it was all by here. It was all what Dylan thought was going on. Oh, I think they were doing this. I think Kaylee ran upstairs and ran down. That, I feel like is open to I don't feel like that's 100% sure, because I'm still thinking, I don't know. I'm still thinking sometimes she might have mixed up Kaylee with Xana for some reason. Could be wrong. I could be wrong, but it's weird because some of the things just don't make sense. Okay. Yeah, that's why, Elle. Thank you for reminding me. That's one of the reasons why. Yes, I forgot about that. I was like, why am I so sure that I really think? Yes, the last batch of documents, they said it sounded like the dog was outside barking from 4 to or till a little after 4 for a couple hours, right? Didn't he say he fell asleep and woke up and it was still barking or something? But whatever they said, it sounded like Murphy was barking for a while and it was outside. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. And then remember I was wondering, then I was like, wait, that's right, the door was wide open. So yeah, Murphy could have been outside then. And then he could have got back inside by the time they called because the door was open all morning. If only dogs could talk. He has all the answers in his brain right now. He probably saw a lot. Okay, on November 17th, Detective Chris Angle with PPD provided me with an email with information regarding Pullman home invasions involving a possible suspect of JAC. I forwarded this email to the Moscow tip line to be assigned and followed up with. On December 13th, 2022, I saw an article online of the recent arrest of SH in blank. H was arrested for stabbing multiple people at a casino in blank and fled the area in a white sedan. I reached out and spoke with Detective MA. So wait, now we're blocking out detectives' names. Oh my lord, with blank county, and they can't even tell us the county. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Detective A provided me with the description of the suspect's vehicle and the weapon which was used in this offense. Got some redaction. Detective A also stated the sheath for the knife was located on the passenger seat of the suspect's vehicle. I determined this person was not involved in our incident and told Detective A I would not need any further information regarding our incident. Around December 15th, 2022, I received a phone call from Detective F from Blank County Sheriff's Office with information on an abandoned 2016 white Hyundai Elantra, which was located in Blank County near a residence. I called Detective F back and he provided me with the plate, which is registered to blank blank out of blank. Wasn't that in Oregon, I think, is where that was? Detective F stated there was a past contact at the residence where this vehicle was seen parked involving a relative of blank at the residence where this. Huh. So I wonder if it's involving a relative of. I don't know, one of the victims, but that doesn't. I don't know. Detective has sent me a photo of the vehicle, which I determined did not match the suspect vehicle description. Sergeant Blanker also received this tip from Detective F and spoke with him. I gotta turn this off for a minute. That's getting loud right now. The video obtained and downloaded to MPD evidence. On November 15th, 2022, I called KF, the property owner for blank Linda Lane, and asked about the video footage he has on the property. F stated he did have a video and later sent me an email with a direct login to his camera system. So the videos could be viewed for any time frame. Details of the email are below. R&D below is a link to a Google Drive with footage from our cameras at blank Linda Lane. I uploaded videos from 2 cameras from 2 a.m. through 6 a.m. on 11/13. One camera shows the parking lot of blank, including a little bit of the parking lot from Queen Apartments below. The other camera covers the street of Linda Lane looking toward Taylor Blake. The longer videos, larger files, shows an entire hour, while the shorter videos shows clips where the camera system detected motion. The videos are currently uploading, so keep refreshing if they are not all there. Additionally, I'm providing a login to the camera system so you can review any of the cameras for any time frame. Once logged in, you can choose any of the 4 cameras from the list on the right. You can click on the playback tab and then from the calendar on the right and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Note that the camera that points down Linda Lane goes offline every day from blank for a scheduled Wi-Fi reset. In addition to using a web browser to view the videos, there's a PC app and a mobile app that can be downloaded and installed. Just search for blank. You can use the same IP address as in the URL above, along with the blank when configuring the app. If you need any help, basically don't hesitate to reach out. So they forwarded that to the FBI on how to access Linda Lane. On November 27th, 2022, I called CF, who lives at blank Drive. I asked F if she still had her Nest camera system, and she stated she did. F put me in contact with her husband, BB, and said he could provide me with their available camera footage. B brought a hard drive to MPD, which contained video footage from their Nest cameras. A white sedan matching the description of the suspect vehicle is seen traveling west on Indian Hills Drive and passes by Indian Hills Drive on 11/13/22 at approximately 3:25 a.m. Around the end of November and beginning of December, Detective Chris Engel provided me with the following videos for several Pullman businesses, and they're all redacted. On December 2nd, 2022, Detective Chris Engel provided me with the contact information for the blank Pullman, Washington. I reached out to the corporate security head, MG, and he stated he would come to the branch in Pullman and view the video on site to see if it would be. Oh, what's that? Oh, thanks. Okay. Thanks. Oh, my mom got me some shorts. I'm going on that cruise. And I don't have any shorts. I never wear shorts. So I got a couple, and then the one I got 2 of the pairs that I got were too tight. So I had to put one back and the other one didn't have a bigger size. And then so I have like no shorts. I'm so bad. I have these stupid, like ugly shorts that were my brother's that I wear to like go walking and stuff. Cause I don't know why I've never bought shorts. But anyway, she got me some. So I'm going on a cruise in a month. I'm excited. I haven't been on vacation in so long, like vacation, like 8 years. No, I don't even know how forever. Feel like it's been like 15 years. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I did go on like a trips where I went to New York or whatever. to visit somebody, but I don't look at that as like a vacation. It was like a trip to meet somebody. We'd meet like halfway just to see the person. And I never really labeled that as a vacation, but I did do that. Okay. Where are we at? With my brother, my niece, I'm going with my brother, my younger brother, his wife, my niece, Gia, and, her family. She's from Mexico. I mean, she lives here. She went to college here. Her parents moved here and she went to college, but like all, her sister all lives in Mexico. All of her cousin, like everybody but her and her parents live here. So her parents are going, but then and her sister's kids. So I don't know them very well. I've met them like twice because they're in Mexico. So they're coming. I don't know if she said her cousins are coming too, so that'll be fun. Okay. So, where are we at? I reached out to the corporate security head. He stated he would come to the branch in Pullman to view the site if it would be of any evidentiary value. Prior to requesting a search warrant to obtain the video, they made arrangements. Okay, let's see. On January 3rd, 2023, KL Pullman PD record specialist sent me a link to the PPD evidence and shared all videos and photos for 2 PPD cases. So it says blank and D. Blank was a found buck knife in a sheath located in Terra View in front of WSU Technology Research Park. The photos for this case are attached to Spillman to the original call, and I did not download the photos. Let's see. There was a hit and run DUI accident, which occurred on 11/12/2022 at approximately 23:40 hours. This location is on the same road leading to Kohberger's apartment complex. Multiple officers responded to this location and remained on scene for several hours with their in-car cameras and body cameras capturing video. The video spans from 11/12 at wow, that's crazy. Wonder if they caught him leaving then. So listen, look at this. It spans from 11/12 at 11:41 to 11:13 at 3:25 AM. He would have been already on his way to freaking Moscow by then. Wonder if they caught let me see. Did they catch him on the camera? The suspect vehicle was located on the WSU Greek Row and officers responded to that location as well. Wow. SF or CF, the owner of the suspect vehicle, was contacted and arrested for this offense and booked into the Whitman County Jail. Oh, the one that did the hit and run. While reviewing the photos located on Kohberger's phone, I found a screenshot of F Whitman County booking information taken from the Whitman County jail roster. That's weird. That's weird. So wait, am I reading this right here? And I know a lot, the other night, there was a document that went over the same stuff, but I think it was at the time I was just, like, so, whew, burnt out, like, at the end of all that reading. It's, like, hitting me now. So, they're saying that Kohberger on his phone had that booking information, the guy that did the hit and run accident. Am I understanding that right? Wow, that's weird. Last modified 11/13 at 6:27 AM. I downloaded all the videos regarding I think if I'm understanding that right, he had a photo, a screenshot of that guy's booking information. Huh, or girl, I don't even know because it's redacted. Is that how you guys are taking it too, guys? What that says? Anybody? Alright, anybody even listening? I just want some input. Like, is that what you guys were taking from that? That's weird. He's weird. This Kohberger, he's a freaking weird. I can't with him. He just makes me mad. That like I just get more mad and mad as these days pass on what a oh. All right. So now we're at as part of an investigation, an extensive search commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvas was conducted in the area of King Road residence. The video canvas was to obtain any footage from early morning hours of November 13th in the area of the King Road residence and the surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect's vehicle traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of the camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the blank block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 at 3:28. On this video, it appeared suspect 1 was not displaying a front license plate, nor did it appear the vehicle had fog lights on the lower portion of the front bumper, based off a video obtained from SM. Located block. So wait, nor did it appear that the vehicle had fog lights on the lower portion of the front bumper. Okay. This was the video which captured the suspect's vehicle crossing South Main Street from Steiner Avenue to Lauder Avenue at approximately 3:28 a.m. A review of the footage from multiple videos obtained from King Road neighborhood show multiple sightings of the suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 and ending at 4:20. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 112 King Road residence and then leave via Willenta Drive. Based off my experiences as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of blank Queen Road, number blank, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in the front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. This is the part that it's like, is that the time that he pulls behind the DoorDash driver? But the timing is off because they said that was like 3:58, which should have been his lap before that. It's bothering me because if this is a different time, then why don't they describe that when they describe what he does? They don't describe it any other time but this time. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? This is really bothering me because he obviously pulls in their driveway twice then. Because they said he pulled behind the DoorDash driver, and that was like 5 minutes before this. So anyway, so suspect vehicle 1 is next seen depart in the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Willenta. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse Drive in Conestoga. So it says that we already read this. This is the same old stuff. This one, let's see. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of the suspect vehicle 1 to a forensic examiner with the FBI that regularly utilized surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across the states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 or 2016. Now, what I want to know though, is a lot of the BK innocence people or whatever you call them, their big thing is like that they change. Oh man, I use this stuff on my face because I saw it on a TikTok shop and I shouldn't have. I should have learned my lesson that last time I used that stuff, that other stuff that burned my face. I feel like I just did it again. Oh, anyway, sorry. I knew I shouldn't have done that. I'm regretting it. It hurts, and I just know it's gonna. Everything that I have bought from the TikTok shop so far has been scams. They're not scams, but they've been crap. They freaking trick me, and they're just crap. They never are what they claim to be. I'm so mad. They get you. They're freaking ads because it's usually just people that convince you this stuff works. Oh, mad. Anyway, I know I was saying because I keep thinking, well, this one, look, the reviews are good. Everybody says it works. But now, then I was telling my mom, like, why did I try it on my face? I should have tried it somewhere else first to make sure. But no, stupid me puts it on my whole freaking face. I don't even want to look in the mirror. Anyway, gosh darn it. It hurts, guys. Anyway, all right, I'm going. Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't. They're scam. It's just not, nothing has been what they say it is. What I was trying to say though is until I rubbed my face for a minute and remembered that my face hurts. Um, so a lot of them will say that the only reason they put those extra years on is because that they, they found Bryan, so Bryan's car didn't match that, so they had to, widen the years or whatever. And so basically, they were just trying to make it to fit his. I don't know. That does bother me that they didn't just put 2011 and 2016 since they're so similar. Like, what made them stop at only those 2 years? Now, we watched that press conference and they said they just decided to do that because just to start there, just to make it easier, whatever they said. But I mean, it makes it look bad. No, do I think Bryan's the guy? Yes, absolutely. I think he's the murderer. But like these little things like this is what makes it gives these other people the fuel to be like, he's innocent. Look, they just made that his car match. It didn't even match that. They just did it because it was, I don't know. They just did it to fit Bryan and blah, blah, blah. Ah. All right. So, investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman. A review of that video indicated that approximately 2:53 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman towards SR 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman as being 2014-2016 Hyundai Elantra. No, maybe, you know what, Cicely, now I'm like drawing a blank because maybe it was that they matched. Well, wait though. The reason I was saying maybe now I'm forgetting if they said they matched it because they saw his car and it was Bryan's and then they went and got the DNA, or did they do a genealogy and it brought back a relative? I can't remember now, but I think the reason my head was going towards the genealogy is because that press conference they said, "Oh, we would have found him. It just would have took longer." Well, if they were already on to him before that, like without the DNA, then that wouldn't make sense that they said that. Does that make sense? So I don't know. Let me see. I got to be refreshed. You guys remind me. I used to know this. I just I don't know why, but I feel like my brain can only hold so much information. And like when a couple years pass and I have like a ton of other cases in my head, like I forget some of these details. Anybody? That's what I was thinking. That's what my brain originally was thinking. But then let's see what they say. All right, at approximately 5:25, a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson and leads directly back to West Palouse. The white sedan was observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard. At 5:27 a.m., it was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way. I'm not going to go over all this because we've had documents that went over all the specifics of where they tracked the car, but so it's just going to go over all that. Okay, so here on November 25th, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29th, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiango queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, I can't say that word, query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with the Pennsylvania license plate. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at blank, Pullman, Washington. Blank is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way. Last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at 12:58 a.m., Curtis Whitman was looking for white Elantras and located the 2015 Elantra in the Pullman parking lot. Blank is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. Upon receipt of this information, I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photographed via driver's license query for that name. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height 6 foot, weighs 185. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows, consistent with the description of the male. No, I think now this reminded me. I think what happened is they got that, and then to confirm it, they went and got his dad's DNA because they tried to look for, I think they tried to find it in his, but they couldn't find anything. And then they went after, he drove home, they were watching what he was doing, and then they went and got the trash from his families to see if it was a match. I think that's how it goes. I don't think that they even linked it with a relative besides his dad, but they got his dad from the trash. I'm pretty sure they are. So they already, Cicely, I'm pretty sure they already have his name because of this. And then to confirm the DNA was his, is they got his parents' trash and then confirm that, that the dad was related to the DNA, basically. But let's see if it tells us the specifics. So, further investigation, including a review at Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Duke's body cam and reports showed that on August 21st, Bryan was detained as a part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow. At that time, Kohberger was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Elantra with Pennsylvania plate blank, which was set to expire November 30th. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number as hereafter 8458 phone as his cell phone number. Investigators conducted a database queries and learned that that phone number is issued by AT&T. Now, they will not release that. Maybe they will now, but I tried to order that a couple times, that stop in Moscow. We got the other stop, but there's 2 stops. So there's the one that we got it where that lady pulls them over. That's in Washington. And then that was like on campus. But this one in Moscow where he was like a block, like really close to the house. I mean, more than a block. He was pretty close. It was like that road. Well, I have to show you on a map, but it was pretty close to the house in Moscow. They will not release that body cam for that stop. I don't know if it was because of the case and now they will, but I'd like to see that. So maybe they will now. October 14th, Bryan was detained as part of the traffic stop. Upon review, that body cam and report of the stop. Didn't they just say that? He was the sole occupant was driving. Okay. On November 18th, according to Washington state licensing, Kohberger registered the Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate. So that would have been after the murders. November 18th, he registered it. Prior to this time, the Elantra is registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience in communication with Washington, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe Kohberger continued to drive the white Elantra as the vehicle was captured December 13th by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. It was later learned this query was a result of a traffic stop in Hancock County, Indiana, where Kohberger was the driver of the Elantra with his father as a passenger. Kohberger was stopped again 9 minutes later in Hancock County, which we got those two stops, which one of the stops, the freaking body cam is facing the ground. You could barely see anything. But on December 16th, 2022, at 2:26 p.m., surveillance video obtained by a request of FBI agents in Pennsylvania showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The only visible occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Learn through a TLL search and locate tool database query, namely blank, an address which is inside the gated community where the footage was captured. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger was a PhD student in criminology. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that fall 2022 semester was Kohberger's first semester at WSU. Additionally, these same records indicated Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. Man, I don't know why my voice feels so tired right now. Hold on, let me take some water. Based on my training, oh wait, did I skip a part? As part of the investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cell devices that utilize cell towers in close proximity to the King Road residence. November 13th, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of 8458 and these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cell towers resources in the close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 and 5. Based on my training and experience in conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cell phone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cell phone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cell phone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cell device associated with them was in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cell phone at a separate location or turn it off, since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23rd, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th and November 14th from that phone number for 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On December 23rd, I received records for that phone. These records indicated that the phone is subscribed to Bryan at an address in Albrightsville, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical site location information. After receiving this information, I consulted with the FBI agent that this certified as a member of the cell analysis survey team. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical exam prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST SA that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for 8458 phone from November 12th to November 13th, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th at 2:42 a.m., the phone was utilizing resources that provide coverage to blank, Pullman, Washington. Hereafter, the Kohberger residence, at approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in the area without cell coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone on airplane mode, or that phone is turned off. The phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m. So it was off for 2 hours, at which time it utilized cell resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho, north of Genesee, between 4:50 and 5:26 a.m. The phone utilizes cell resources that are consistent with the phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway and then traveling west towards Uniontown, Washington, and then north back into Pullman. Approximately 5:30, the phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. So it's consistent with that of the white Elantra. They're saying the phone is consistent with that of where they're tracking that white Elantra. Further review indicated that the phone utilized cell resources on November 13th that are consistent with the phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at 9 a.m. So this is after he leaves again, travels back to Moscow. Specifically, the phone utilized cell resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. So he went back to the house, I think, went back to the area of the house probably just to see what was going on. Hey, any cops caught? Just, a lot of the murderers, they'll go back and watch. And also, we've talked about this before where some of us think the possibility that maybe he was debating going and trying to get that sheath back that he left. Wasn't sure if would that be a good idea? But I don't know. I mean, that might be too risky, but okay. So the phone next utilized cell resources that are consistent with the phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to that area at 9:32 a.m. So it's like he went there and then went right back to his residence. Investigators found that the phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, but the investigators do not believe the phone was in Moscow on that date. The phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. So now, for some reason, it did connect again to the cell tower that provides service to Moscow, but I don't know why they think that time that they don't think that he actually was in Moscow. So I'm not sure what their logic is on that, you know, of like this time thinking, okay, this connects. We think he was by the house, but this time it connects, but we don't think he actually was. It doesn't make that much sense, but I don't, maybe there's reasons why they think this time he wasn't. And maybe if we knew the reasons, it would just make sense, but I don't know why they can't share it. Um, Based on my training experience and facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed depart in Pullman, and that this vehicle is likely the suspect one. The route of travel during the early morning hours and the lack of phone reporting between that time is consistent with him attempting to conceal his location during the murder. On December 23rd, I was granted a search warrant for his CSLI from June 23rd to current. Prospective location information in a pen registered trap and trace on the phone to aid in efforts to determine if the Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense. Conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims, associates before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred, or the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On December 23rd, to that search warrant, I received historical records for that phone. After consulting with Cast SA, I was able to determine estimated locations from June to present. It says that it shows that the phone utilized cell resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of these occasions, August 21st, the phone utilized resources providing coverage to the King Road residents at 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37, Kohberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff, as mentioned above. The phone was utilizing cell resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time. It's crazy. So he gets stopped one of those times he's scoping out the house, right? Yeah, this is just talking about, we've already went over this before in the past about, he utilized resources that would give coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe, and located at blank Clarkston, Washington. Footage from U.S. Chef Store, located in Clarkston, adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra consistent with the suspect. The Albertsons grocery store, 1246, showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra. So surveillance footage obtained showed him exit the white Elantra, and also he utilized the cell data in the area. So that all matched up. 1249, interior surveillance showed Kohberger walk through the store. At 5:32, the phone utilized resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Washington. Yeah, this is all pretty much. Oh, here we go. Okay, so on December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash. Well, let me make sure that what I I didn't miss anything up here. Okay. Traveled hours immediately following suspect time. Okay. Yeah. So they recovered trash from Kohberger's family residence located in Albrightsville. That evidence was sent to Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28th, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified male as not being excluded as a biological father of the suspect. So that's what happened. They were onto him because of the car. So then they wanted to get DNA to match the DNA, or they wanted to match the DNA. So they went to his parents because they couldn't get it from his apartment complex. So they got it from his parents and then they matched it. So I knew that. Gosh, I wish I wish I didn't forget. But that was like 2 years ago. Kikor, what up? What up? Hey, J Ray. What family's J Ray? Hey, Tony. Hey, Temptress. Okay, so, but that tells me though that they would have found. I mean, so they didn't. Well, they needed the DNA because it did make a way stronger case if they went to trial. But they were already on to him because the car, his phone data matched, so they were on to him before they even matched his DNA. So he requested an arrest warrant to be issued to Bryan for burglary and for the murders. Let me take a sip of my water real quick, guys. Well, I think there's a couple of reasons, Jay Ray. First of all, I think that they couldn't find anything because he was real particular with his trash. But I think also, if I'm remembering, wasn't there an issue because it's a complex? So the whole complex will basically throw their trash in the same dumpster. So I think that created an issue because I mean, how you know what I'm saying? How to figure out which one his is, maybe. But I guess they could have watched him. But I think also he wasn't throwing his trash or something. You know how he was about, remember how he was taking his trash over to, when he was at home, his parents' house, he was taking his trash over to the neighbors. I think they had an issue with being able to get it, to be honest. And I forget if it was just because they all shared it or if it's because he wasn't throwing away anything, or maybe both. Um, all right. So next we have on February 2nd, 2023, at around 8 a.m., Brett Payne and myself responded to the secure storage area at the city shop to take photos of property belonging to DM um, and another unidentified female. MPD had previously removed items. Oh my God, this is like the third document that is about this. Remember that? So Dylan's okay, so they're taking photos of Dylan's property and another unidentified female. MPD had previously removed items belonging to Dylan and Bethany and Xana, Ethan, and Maddie and Kaylee. Items had also been removed from a spare bedroom on the first floor. Ann Taylor, defense counsel, was granted permission to go through these items to see what could be released back to the property owners. Prior to Miss Taylor being given a chance to look at these items, property belonging to Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee, or they're saying to look at these items, property belonging to Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee had already been released. MPD had also given Dylan back her belongings, but were able to get her to return them. So remember, they had to return them. Miss Taylor requested we set aside the following items from Dylan's belongings: handwritten note, pink and white blanket with red hearts, pink and white cloth, possibly used as curtain or decoration, black and white van shoes. We know why she's getting those, because remember that shoe print that they got, it was like there's like that triangle. They said it looked like it could have been a Vans shoe, remember? And they thought it was the footprint, the shoe print that after they put the the luminar or whatever they put on it, and it brought, it wasn't seen with the naked eye. They had to put that stuff on it, and then they were able to like make out that there was a little bit of, DNA that it brought like a little bit of a shoe print with the label that looked like a Vans logo, but then they couldn't find any Vans shoes in Bryan Kohberger's. When they did the warrant, he didn't have any. So of course they're gonna create reasonable doubt. They were going to probably to make it look like, oh, look, that was her shoe or something, and then I I swear I feel like they were going to almost blame the roommates too. I do. I think that the defense were going to make it look like the roommates and their friends did it. What do you guys think? Anyway, so she wanted them to keep the black and white Van shoes, red and white unknown brand shoes, black and white Converse shoes, items from the spare bedroom, Adidas black and white short sleeve t-shirt, green and pink coat. The above items were placed in cardboard boxes and set aside until Miss Taylor can get court order stating she can take the items. Oh no, but J Ray, they didn't get the warrant until after they matched the DNA. So I think you're confusing. So they needed the good reason why they were able to get a warrant for these murders. So they wanted to get that DNA matched so they could ask for the warrant. So they didn't get that warrant until after they had the DNA. So by the time they went into his apartment, they had already matched the DNA. So they didn't need his DNA anymore. Does that make sense? But knowing him, the way he freaking is and cleans up, I wouldn't surprise if there was no DNA in his apartment after he left. But yeah, they wouldn't have needed it by then. Okay, so where are we at? Yeah, right. You guys, my face hurts. Okay, Core, I gotta show you this product I used in my face. I think I messed up my face from stupid TikTok shop. I keep getting tricked. Okay, yeah, that's true. Hey, Alvin. All right, so on February 16th, I was notified by Sergeant Blaker that JM had called requesting follow up on a tip he provided during the investigation. Sergeant Blaker provided me with the phone number of blank. I called M at the number and spoke to him. The conversation was not recorded. M started by stating he lived at blank in Moscow and had called in a tip early on in the investigation about seeing a vehicle drive by his house at approximately 4:25 a.m. to 4:30 on the morning of November 13th. M told me he was out in front of his house at the time, placing items in his recycling and trash bins. M stated he was wearing a headlamp at the time because it was dark and his front house lights were not on. M stated there was only one street light in the area at the corner of his property. M stated he had been in and out of his house several times. On the last of these times, he told me he heard a vehicle approaching his home from the north, which would be Conestoga Drive. Conestoga Drive runs north and south in his area, headed towards West Palouse River Drive. M was adamant he could not swear to what type of vehicle he saw. However, he remembers seeing the headlights and taillights. M described the taillights as being teardrop shaped, about waist high. The only thing he remembered about the headlights was that they were lower to the ground than the taillights. M also told me the vehicle was going faster than usual, but did not seem to be driving erratically or dangerously. M also told me he thought at the time the vehicle may have been a dark SUV, but based this off the taillight height and the fact that he could not see the vehicle itself due to lighting. I asked M if it was common for him to be out in the early hours of the morning. M stated he often walked his service dog or took his trash out at that time. M told me it was quite unusual for anyone to be driving in the area at that time. and said he had not seen many cars driving at that time since the morning of November 13th. M told me he spoke to an ISP investigator during the investigation and told the investigator he thought the vehicle might have been a dark SUV based on the above information. However, M told me he has since tried to tell the color of the other vehicles driving by his house when it was dark outside, and he has been unable to tell what color the vehicles are because of poor lighting. M stated he was contacted by someone from Katonai County Public Defender's Office who asked him about the dark SUV he caught on security camera. M told me he did not have any video footage, nor was he certain the vehicle was an SUV or a sedan. I wonder why they asked. So they asked, he was contacted by somebody, asked the security, Wonder why they thought he had something on a security camera. Anyway, M expressed several times the only thing he could attest to was the shape of the taillights he saw on the vehicle that night. I thanked M for his time, and he told him to call me with any further information. Do you guys hear the thunder? It's been doing that like every night, and it almost like I can't even know for sure if it is thunder. It's like a weird constant thing. Sorry, I keep drinking some water. I feel like I'm a little dehydrated again. Melanie, hey, missed ya. That's funny that you say that, J. Roy, because I used to, like, I'm a recovering addict, and heroin and meth were my drugs that I did. And you're right, though. When we were like up all night and stuff, a lot of us would have I'm just like doing things. That's so funny that you said that, because that's like a kind of an accurate stereotype, or at least for the people I hung out with. Oh my god. Oh, no, I'm thinking of. I don't know why I find that kind of funny that you said that. Anyway, oh yay, Melanie, where have you been? Mamma mia! Okay, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh my god, that's funny. Congrats, though. Are you saying so? You're sober now too? That's awesome. All right, November 12th at 2100 hours, which is 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. I began an overtime shift for a plainclothes detail on the University of Idaho campus and related areas. This patrol was for minors and possession, consumption of alcohol, along with other alcohol drug offenses. During this patrol, I and the other officer with me, Officer Rosendahl, only had our body worn cameras. We were operating out of the Moscow Police Department Ford Fusion, which I drove throughout the entire detail. This particular department vehicle did not have a dash camera or any other recording device. My street time conducting the plainclothes detail concluded at 3:52 a.m. on November 13th, 2022. During this detail, Officer Rosendale and I made several patrols through the area of King Street and Queen Street. During each patrol of the area, we traveled on the north side of 500 Queen Road heading east. We wrapped around the building heading south on the east side, then on the south side of the complex. We then traveled north on the west side, turned west on Queen Road, and proceeded to King Street. During one of the patrols in this area, while approaching the southwest corner of 500 Queen Road, I recall seeing a darker color vehicle with taillights on. This vehicle was parked facing south on the south side of the parking lot, towards the west end. There was a short section of the parking lot which extended to the west of 500 Queen Road, south of 1122 King Street. which was where the vehicle was. Each time we patrolled this area, I drove the same route. During the final patrol, which to the best of my recollection was between 2 and 3 a.m. hours on November 13th, 2022, as we traveled north on the west side of the apartment complex, I saw several individuals approaching the residence at 1122 King Street. During this detail, I was looking for alcoholic beverages, open alcoholic containers, and individuals who appeared to be intoxicated. I observed the individuals as I drove past, but did not see any reason to contact them for our related patrol. I recall my view of the individuals being obstructed by vehicles and brush on the east side of the parking lot for 1122 King Street. Where are we at? The individuals were walking close. The individuals were walking close a vehicle which was parked in the northeast corner of the lot. As I turned onto Queen Road and traveled west, I continued to view the individuals. From my recollection, there were at least 2 individuals, possibly 3. I recall one of the individuals having blonde hair. I do not recall exactly how many individuals there were, what they were wearing, or any other details, as I quickly looked for beverages in their hands and whether they were staggering from intoxication. So he said he was traveling west. Hold on. Where do you say? As I turned the road, traveled west. Okay. Since we made several patrols through the area, I cannot say with 100% confidence I saw the vehicle on the same path as I saw the individuals. Upon my review of my radio, I contacted 3 individuals at Taylor Avenue at about 2:55 a.m. To the best of my recollection, this was after exiting King Street. After seeing the individuals at 1122, we cleared this contact at 3:32 a.m. So isn't this the arrest where the 3 kids? Because that was like around that time, like 2:45 up until, I mean, it was basically done by 3:30. So I'm wondering if that's what he's referring to. Huh. You guys don't hear the thunder? It's getting loud. Okay, so now we got on 11:14 at about 22:42. So what? 10:42. Dispatch advised they were forwarding a call to my cell phone. My phone briefly started to ring, but then it suddenly stopped. For some reason, the call was forwarded to voicemail before I could answer. When the voicemail came through to my phone, I learned it was from JS. This is Hoodie Guy, guys. JS is Hoodie Guy. The voicemail said, "Hey, how's it going? My name is JS." So we know his name's Jack. I'm not going to say his last name, but I do know his last name. But so my name is Jack. My phone number is blank. I just wanted to make a statement to you guys because I was close friends with Maddie Mogan. I was with her at the corner club most of the night. And then after we left, we wanted to go to John's Alley and we went to stop that grub truck. Wait, we wanted to go to John's Alley and we went to stopped at Grub Truck. They got Grub Truck. Then a car picked them up and they left and went home. Hang on, hold on, I'm getting that hiccup thing. Why does that happen? Okay. They got Grub Truck, then car picked them up and they left and went home. I just wanted to make a statement about. So remember, he tried to call. This is a voicemail because the officer didn't pick up. So he says, "I just wanted to make a statement about," and then there's unintelligible, so he couldn't make out what he said. Says, "I don't know if anything is helpful, but I was just with them like for a little bit. So if I can be any help, I would like to. Give me a call. Thank you." Shortly after I got the voicemail. Jack called dispatch again and was successfully transferred to my phone. At about 10:46 hours, I talked to Jack on the phone. Um, Jack essentially said the same thing he said in the voicemail he left. He said that he was out with Maddie at the corner club until about 2:30 a.m. He said several times he did not know who the other girl was that was with them that night. So wait, is he saying he didn't know Kaylee? Is that what you guys are getting? Like, so he only knew Maddie? Like, how is he good friends with Maddie and doesn't know Kaylee? Does that make sense? Or maybe, okay, so he's saying he does not, unless if he's saying there was a third girl out there with him and he doesn't know who it was. Anyway, let's see. But I'm guessing he's talking about Kaylee, right? What would you guys take that? Would you guys take it as he's saying he didn't know who Kaylee was, or was there a third person maybe? Anyway, so he says Jack described the girls getting into a silver sedan after they got food at the grub truck. I confirmed Jack's name, date of birth, address, and phone number. I also confirmed with Jack he drove to his parents' house at blank in Boise. That was another thing people thought, was suspicious because like he left town and stuff. Man, I love storms though. I know, that's what's weird. That doesn't even make sense. Especially like I think he was originally wanting to walk, he wanted to be the one to take him home, but because if you watch that grub truck video, it is so obvious that he isn't aware that they're going to get picked up by someone else. He's like, wait, where are you going? Like thinking he was going to take him home. That's how the impression I got, because we studied that freaking video so much because we all thought he was suspicious at first. So it's like they're hanging out and it's like almost like I feel like it could come across like he had a thing, maybe a thing for Maddie. Um, and then when they leave, he's talking to a guy and they was like, hey, look, they left. And you could tell he's like, what the heck? Like, and kind of like ran over there. Like, so I think he was surprised and was like, what the heck? I thought you're coming home with me, or I thought I was going to take you home is the impression I got. So, I mean, if he knew where they lived and he was going to, walk them home, how don't you know Kaylee? How? And I'm not saying like I think he's the guy. I think Bryan Kohberger's the guy, but just weird. It's just weird that he doesn't know Kaylee. Anyway, I asked Jack how long he planned to be at his parents' house, and he said he was skipping the next week of classes and would remain in Boise until after Thanksgiving break. Jack said he was willing to talk to a detective about his involvement with this case. Jack said he does not have a roommate at his Queen Road apartment and that he lives alone. I recorded our conversation with my dash camera in BWC. The videos were uploaded to the WatchGuard. Okay. I don't know why this one should not have. This one was one of those ones. See, it's stuff like this, which I like. Can't talk. Documents like this that I usually put in the boring that I don't read. That's what I would go through them on, like stuff that's just this that doesn't really offer much. I'd put in the boring file where I wouldn't read it to you guys. So Apple laptops, I don't even know. It doesn't even say who they're from or what they are, Okay. Oh, never mind. They are located in the residence of 1122 King Road. So they got 4 Apple laptops, 2 Dell laptops, and an Apple iPad. Okay. So now we got on November 26th, I requested and was granted a warrant for eBay for the sales of the following items between January 2022 to present. The K-Bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife, the leather sheath. On November 26th at 1907, I logged into eBay and the law enforcement e-request system. I received an email from blank at eBay providing me with an internal case number. The November 28th at 11:05 a.m., I received an email from eBay stating the files were ready to download. I logged into the portal and downloaded the files. In examining the files, eBay showed no purchases for the K-Bar, that ASIN 4938 K-Bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife. It says it showed several IDs associated with the sale, and so they are associated with knife sheaths. Let's see, this might just be, yeah, they don't end up finding anything on eBay about it. Okay, November 17th, JD was interviewed by Sergeant Mike from the Idaho Police. At that time, he provided his phone to Sergeant Van Leuven along with the consent to search the phone. That phone is an iPhone XR transported to the police department forensic lab. I applied for and was granted a search warrant to access the contents of the iPhone. So this is Kaylee's ex, right? The phone was extracted by Dustin Taylor. Um, on November 18th, while confirming Detective Taylor received the warrant, I was informed the phone was no longer at the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Idaho State Police Lieutenant Paul Berger picked up the phone from Taylor and delivered it to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, where the investigative analyst VJ received it. The data on the phone was forensically extracted at the location. November 19th, Idaho Police Detective Richardson retrieved the phone from the forensic lab and delivered the phone to to Kaylee's ex's mother per attorney's wishes. Yeah, because that's Jack, right? Kaylee's ex's initials. Gosh, I keep getting like they're all J. So sometimes I'm like, wait, is that the one that's Maddie's boyfriend or Kaylee's ex? Because Maddie's boyfriend's it's JD is Maddie's boyfriend. I think no, not Maddie's boyfriend, Kaylee's ex. Maddie's boyfriend, I think, is Jake something, right? But I don't know I forget what his last name is. But Kaylee's ex is JD, which is Jack something. So just try to, when you see those initials, or you can try to remember. So you guys, let me just check something really quick. I don't think I have Maddie's. Yeah, that for sure is his ex. But I don't have Maddie's. To go through my old files, I think it's Jake. Dang it, I can't remember what the last name begins with. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, let me take this down so we can see. So they got his phone. They extracted it. They gave it back to his mom, and then they gave Sergeant Van Leuven with a USB drive containing the extraction, and then they provided the USB drive to me, and it was placed into the secure forensic lab at the Moscow Police Department. Okay, so that's just on November 29th, I found I had received 2 emails from Snapchat dated November 28th at 5 p.m. approximately. These emails provided links to download the data requested pursuant to the 2 warrants served on Snap on November 21st. The files were downloaded and saved onto a computer located in the secure computer forensic lab. Okay, let's see. Everything's redacted. Look, I located the user ID who showed subscriber information of RWP is the initials, born 1967. Huh. The data showed R purchased a K-Bar USMC brown leather knife sheath for 7-inch blades on August 14th, 2022 at 3:29 a.m. I located 2 younger males associated with R and TLO. I have found TLO to be generally reliable in previous investigations. Huh. Those males appear to be R's sons, born 96 and 94. Huh. In reviewing R's eBay account, it appears he purchases and sells military memorabilia and equipment. I informed Sergeant Dustin of this information for follow-up. I completed the warrant, return receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. Okay. Huh. On November 13th, I was directed to interview potential witnesses in regards to the incidents at the King Roadhouse. During this process, I was tasked with extracting data from the following phones so we could see Dillany. Oh my God, I mixed Dylan and Bethany's names together. So Dylan's, Bethany's, Jack's, EA, which was their friend, right? MC. I don't remember who. Oh, that's MC. Isn't that Ethan's either brother or sister? All right. So I received signed consent forms from M, D, A, and C. I was informed by Corporal Brett Payne. F provided verbal consent for her phone to be extracted. The phones were extracted using the following forensic software. Let's see. Upon completion of the extractions, the phones were returned to their owner as promptly as possible. And then the data was saved to computer. All right. Let me get the rest of them real quick. What we ended on 47. So hold on. We got. All right. So these are the rest of them, guys. So we'll definitely get through them. All right. So December 1st. 2022, Corporal Payne asked if I would assist with interviewing blank members of Ethan Chapin at the law. So it's probably family members of Ethan Chapin at Latah County Annex Building. I arrived and spoke with MCC. MC is one of his siblings. I introduced myself to M and told her, would be his sister then, her, told her I would be recording our conversation so I would not miss anything she said. M had filled out an adult victim background questionnaire, which I reviewed before speaking with M. M listed Ethan as being very easygoing, positive, friendly, funny, and stated he did not have any negative issues or negative feelings with anyone. M listed the following people as being the people whom Ethan spent the most of time with: Xana, KF, or KF, PE, HC, that's probably his brother, HJ, EA, and EA, yeah, okay. M told me the following about the people who Ethan was closest to. Let me scroll up. Xana. Ethan and Xana have been dating for about 1 year and met through school. M has known Xana for 1 year and met her through Ethan. M talked with Xana once during Rush, but never hung out with her until Xana started dating Ethan. She partied with Xana, but never hung out with her outside of that. Xana was a junior and had a lot of friends and knew most of the campus. M met Xana's dad briefly during Parents Weekend. Parents Weekend, yeah. Never met Xana's sister and never heard anything factual about Xana's mom, but knew Xana did not have contact with her. Ethan would often spend time with Xana while she was at work at Mad Greek. Ethan and Xana never mentioned having weird feelings about anyone, customers or employee at Mad Greek. Ethan never said anything negative about his relationship with Xana to her. PE. P is a blank and in the blank fraternity. M does not know much about P. M thought P was a farmer and from California, but she was not sure. Ethan would spend a lot of time with P, and they met through the fraternity. Ethan and P were very similar and would often watch football together on Sundays. P lives at blank. Ethan would hang out with P 3, 4, or 5 days out of the week. When Ethan would be with P, they would spend time at Xana's residence, P's residence, and several apartments at the Whites. EA and JL's apartment on the second floor, left side. The blank apartment at the Whites, CATR, Ethan's blank, and H, unknown last name. The top floor on the right. KF. K was one of Ethan's closest friends. K lives in blank at blank. M stated K and P were Ethan's closest friends. M did not see any drug use amongst any of Ethan and his friends, but they said they drank a lot, which was normal for the fraternity life. HJ. HJ is dating EA. So that's Hunter Johnson, and then is dating EA. That's his girlfriend. Okay. And was the person who Bethany and Dylan called to come to their house the morning of the homicide. Ethan golfed a lot with Jay. And Jay and E came to their house over the past summer several times and hung out. Ethan never had any issues with Jay. M never heard of or observed Ethan getting into fights with anyone. Ethan never confided in her about having problems or frustrations with anyone. Ethan never mentioned having any issues with any of the girls who lived with Xana. Where did I get? M spent time at Xana's house and never observed any issues between any of the roommates. M said she did not know Maddie or Kaylee well and said she knew Bethany and Dylan better. M thought if Ethan did have what does it say? M thought if Ethan did have anything he needed to talk to someone about, he would most likely speak with their blank H. Probably their brother. It's probably, yeah, I'm guessing it's because they're redacting even the word brother, sister, or parents. It's crazy. So I'm guessing he would most likely have speak because M is his sister. So I'm thinking he would most likely speak with their brother H or Xana because he saw them daily. M said Ethan was an open book and was not a private person. I asked M if she knew what Ethan did on Friday and Saturday, November 11th and 12th. M said he was not sure, or M said she was not sure what Ethan did on Friday. M said on Saturday, Ethan did not go to the football game or tailgate and thought he spent that time at the Whites, possibly at Jay's and E's. So probably with Hunter and his girlfriend is what they're saying, I think, or what she's saying. So possibly, yeah, Hunter in his girlfriend's apartment, Hunter's girlfriend. M said in the evening, Ethan went with her to her formal event, which was at Hunga Donga from 9. So been from 7 to 8 that night. M said they drove to Hunga Donga in their vehicle with Ethan. HC was with his date RS. With Ethan, their brother HC, and with his date RS, or the brother's date RS. DM Dylan, and Dylan and Jay are both blank members. Okay, so M said Hunga Dunga was rented by her sorority, and this was a private event. M told me how she knew the majority, or M told me she knew the majority of everyone who was at the Hunga Dunga, and nothing out of the ordinary occurred while they were there at the event. M said they all left Hunga Dunga in the same car and drove to her sorority, where the girls, including her, got out, went inside, and changed their clothes. M said R, H, and R all got back into the car and left with Ethan, H, D, and J to go to a party at blank. Oh my God, all these initials. So M said R. So whoever R is, H, and then R and R all got back into the car. So they went back and changed. Then they all get back in the car and then go back with Ethan, his brother Dylan, and Jay and Hunter. I think that's who those are. And they went to a party at blank. M said she texted Ethan at approximately 2014, so 8:14, telling him she did not want to go with them to blank and was going to stay at her sorority. M said Ethan texted her several times trying to convince her to come, but she did not go and eventually fell asleep around 10. M said that said the blank party was just a normal Saturday evening party. I asked Em if she saw any weird comments on Ethan's social media, and Em said she recently logged into Ethan's Instagram account and made it private because it was public and a lot of random people were making bad comments on it. Bad? What the heck? What? Wow. People are just, ugh. Em said people were speculating this was a drug related thing or something to do with the girls. M told me she did not notice the names of the people who were commenting, but said that they were weird accounts with just one follower. M said people were making bad comments on all of the other victims' accounts as well. I asked M if the girls had any bad feelings with any other neighbors. M said she did not think so. Huh. Um, M told me she was at Xana's house a lot of the weekends and said she was? Wait, M told me she was at Xana's house a lot of the weekends and said they would often get a noise complaints. M said she was present for two of the noise complaints. M thought the person making the complaint lived in the house behind 1122 King Road, but was not certain. M told me she never witnessed any retaliation from any of the neighbors. I asked M if Xana and her roommates knew everyone who lived around them, and she said she did not know. I thanked M for speaking with me and told her if she thought of anything else to let us know. My conversation with M was recorded and is copied onto DVD. And booked into okay. All right. Oh, all right. 1123. I applied for and was granted a search warrant for Queen Road, the residence of JS. The warrant was based on the following information. So JS is hoodie guy. Huh. I didn't read that. I mean, I'm probably skimmed over, but I don't think I read it. Let's see what it says. Officer and I responded to Queen Road at approximately 10 a.m. on 11:15. We walked on the common walkway in front of the door to it's gotta be, yeah, Jack, the hoodie guy. Um, because his last name matches that. Like, I know what his last name is, and it matches that length. And yeah, the other one was him too. Okay, so they walked in the front of the door to Jack's apartment and observed the exterior of the door. The area around the door had numerous spots of dried fluid, which appeared to be rust drops from a metal roof above the apartment's door. Huh. Um, These drops were mainly on the wall next to the door frame, not on the frame itself. I observed what appeared to be a different fluid spot on the door, approximately 8 inches up from the bottom of the under the knob. Um, I also noticed the deadbolt plating was clean, polished silver, and had no dirt on it. I walked away from the door in order to conduct an interview on a possible witness. Officer House and several members of the ISP forensic unit, to include Detective Hugh Powell, walked back to Queen Road. I met back up with Officer House, Detective Powell, short time later, and they told me they believed the spot of dried fluid on the door displayed similar characteristics to that of dried blood. Namely, Detective Powell stated that the spot displayed a cracking texture common when blood dries on a surface. The spot also displayed a similar drop pattern to the blood spots found on the banister wall in the wall on the stairwell to the ground floor, which I observed inside 1122 King Road. Officer House told me that he looked at several other doorknobs and deadbolt plates on doors in the same apartment complex, all which had a fine layer of dust. Officer House also confirmed Jack's door did not have the same layer of dust on, as though it had been cleaned off. I returned to MPD and was notified by Detective Vargas, who was reviewing security camera footage provided by the owners of Linda Lane, of possible footage of someone walking by the cameras at 3:50 a.m. on 11/13/22. I watched the film with detectives. The camera showed the parking lot of Linda Lane, which is situated directly south of Queen Road. The frame captures a portion of the Queen Road parking lot in front of blank, but does not capture the apartments themselves. The frame captures a portion of the Queen. Okay. Huh. The area of Queen Road is also much darker than Linda Lane. The video is infrared and is thusly displayed in black and white at approximately 3:50 and 11:13. Per the timestamp on the video, a figure clad in dark clothing can be seen walking from the building which houses blank Queen Road. The figure walks to the west out of the parking lot and leaves the frame of the video as the figure enters the sidewalk area between the other two apartment buildings at Queen Road. The terminus of this sidewalk is immediately east of 1122 King Road. Hmm. The figure is not captured by the cameras any further. Huh. Based off the information above, MPD and ISB officers served a search warrant on the exterior of the front door to Queen Road. Access to the residence, per the search warrant, was granted only if a presumptive positive test for blood was found on the exterior. Nothing was found during this search, and the warrant was returned. Huh. Okay. Wait, hold on. Access to the But look, but it says access to the resident per this search warrant was granted only if a presumptive positive test for blood was found on the exterior door. So are they saying no that it wasn't blood on the door, or are they saying they were able to get a warrant and go in but nothing was found? If they were able to go in, that means that there was blood on the door. You know what I'm saying? Because it says only if it was granted only if presumptive positive test. Let's see here. Okay. Officer Morris was contacted by JS, a maintenance worker for blank, which manages Queen Road. S told OFC Morris he conducted a routine maintenance order on blank Queen Road on 11/22, wherein he discovered something of note. I had Officer Morris call S and place him on speaker so I could talk to him. I asked S to tell me what he found. S told me he and another maintenance worker entered the apartment in order to check on a water quality complaint by the tenant. Both men checked the kitchen and did not notice any issues. S said he entered the only bathroom in the residence and began to inspect the drain when the other maintenance worker advised there appeared to be blood on the shower curtain. S said he looked and discovered what appeared to be two separate smudge marks on the shower curtain, which appeared to be dried blood. S described the smudges as 1 inch by 1 inch. S said he then noticed another smudge of what appeared to be dried blood on the toilet flusher handle. S added there appeared to be spatter of dried blood near the light switch on the interior wall of the bathroom. I asked S to describe the marks. He told me they appeared to be reddish brown in color. S added, I've seen dried blood before, and the marks appeared to be similar. S added the only thing he did in the restroom was flush the toilet in order to check the water quality. S said the toilet appeared clean but became clogged when he flushed it. S noted it was odd the toilet became clogged. S said he and his counterpart then left the apartment. I asked S if anyone had a reason or means to access the apartment besides he or S between the time he left and the current time. S said no. What the heck? So remember, Jack ended up going to his parents' house in Boise, Idaho, so he's not even home for a while. But wait a minute, this is confusing me because Okay, so he's telling him that, and if he's out of town, that means that blood's still there. I hope they went and they're not allowed to just go in, huh? Because they needed, like, to be able to test that blood to see what the heck who it's from. What the heck? This is kinda like, let's see, S said no. Oh, okay, so I served the search warrant with ISP, and where we discovered blood smears and spots in the location as described. In addition, there were more blood spatter spots on the wall on the entryway into the living room. Samples of each were collected, 94 in total. What? What the heck? Talbot took photos of the residence upon completion. I left the required paperwork in the living room and took a photo. Well, I'm sure they tested it. I guess it didn't belong to any of the victims. I mean, they would have had to, I'm sure they had to have tested the blood, right? Wow. But he was a hunter. Remember, he was the one. So people were very suspecting him because he had a bunch of knives. And remember, he would go hunting, and there was like pictures of him with where he would cut up, like with the animals, like deer or whatever, cut up with like blood. And you know what I'm saying? So that could, maybe it's just because he was hunting or something. It was maybe non-human blood. I don't know. What the heck? Yeah, we read that yesterday, K-Court. The stripper one was on, not yesterday, my last, document reading, it was in that one. The stripper, yeah, where he said, like, she's like, "Who are you gonna kill?" And he says, "Whoever I want." Yeah. Um, and guys, on my last one, I did timestamps. I did a really detailed timestamps to help you get through it. But I didn't include in the timestamps, I didn't break it down to include every single document timestamped, but I included like a lot of the real interesting ones. So it helps you to, if you just want to see something, a part of the video, like, oh, I want to see that part, the stripper one. I think I have that labeled as a dancer, something with a dancer. Um, or like, ooh, the DoorDash driver one. So it makes it easy to go and click on the timestamp. So it's in the description, pinned comment, plus it's chapters. I did it in the description, which makes chapters too. Um, but yeah. Oh, beautifully broken. Well, look, check this out. If you go, I'll show you. If you want to look at it after this, I'll show you exactly where to go. So if you go to hold on, my live, hold on, let me bring it up. Happens. This was yesterday. So if you go to, where's that dancer says remembers BK. So that's, I should just change it to stripper, but okay. So here, let me show you real quick. So if you go to my live a couple days ago, and then go to so the timestamps are right here. So it's right here. Dancer says remembers BK. You just click on it and it'll take you there. So when I have a lot of times I try to do timestamps for videos like this, which are in here, but they're also in the description. And also because the way they do it, it'll do chapters too. And if you when you do it in the description. So however you want to do it. I mean, I have to manually put them in, but then when you put them in, it does this for where you put them in. So yeah, always look for that, guys. If it's like, especially if it's a long live. But yeah, it's interesting. It was like in 2017 or 18. He she said she remembers somebody, and she's like, what did she say? Like 90%. I don't know. She thinks it was him. He comes in and he's just by himself, kind of acting weird. She noticed he was talking to himself. So and then she ended up catching what he said one time, like when she's stripping, she ends up catching him say something like about killing people. So then she walked by him again and said like something like, oh yeah, who do you want to kill or something. He says something like anybody I want. And then she ends up doing a private dance, and I forget, what did she say he said he was asking her about Wasn't he asking her about, like, where she lived and like, what kinda car she drove or something? I think that was I think, if I'm remembering right. Weird. So if that really was him, I mean, that's whew, that's crazy. But she said that she thinks it was. Creepy, huh? Alright. Where am I at here? Let me exit out. Okay. Yeah, this is the end. This is kind of interesting. This one though, dang it. So there's 94 samples of each were collected, 94 in total. Obviously, it didn't go back to the victims, but wonder what it was. Wish we knew. Let's see if any of these documents show what like it was like, oh, non-human blood or something. I don't know. Skimming these, I don't remember any of them explaining it, so I don't think we are going to get that answer. But let's see. Um, on November 15th, I had a phone message from the front desk to contact RR as she may have information regarding Kaylee having a stalker. On November 15th at approximately 11:15 a.m., I called and spoke with R. I introduced myself to R and told her I was giving her a message to call about possible information regarding Kaylee having a stalker. R told me she and some friends had lunch with Kaylee around September 11th, 2022, and she thought Kaylee said something about having a stalker. R thought Kaylee mentioned receiving something in the mail, but some of the other friends at the lunch thought Kaylee mentioned getting a strange message through Facebook Messenger. R told me she had been speaking with all of the friends who were at lunch and they were trying to remember what was said. R provided me with the names of the other friends who were at lunch with Kaylee on or around September 11th. Um, so CW graduated last year, University of Idaho. MP left U of Idaho last semester, and then SR student at WSU. BD unknown number, current University of Idaho student. R provided me with the name JQ and told me Jay and Kaylee were very close friends and had plans to live together in June. R said Jay was not at the lunch, but she thought Kaylee would have spoken with her the most. Okay. Um, R said Kaylee spoke with J and O or C and B the most. I asked R if she could think of anyone who Kaylee had any issues with, and she said no. R told me Kaylee was very kind hearted to everyone. I asked R how the conversation came up regarding the stalker at lunch with Kaylee. R said Kaylee would always talk about things in a light-hearted manner and said one time she was speaking about childhood trauma in a joking manner and they did not think much of it. R thought the stalker topic just got brought up at some point during the lunch conversation because she could not remember how specifically. I thanked R for the information and told her to contact us if she remembered anything else. JQ, November 15th at approximately would be 2:30 p.m. I called and spoke to JQ. Jay told me she and Kaylee had plans to move in together in June and said she spoke with Kaylee often. I asked Jay about the topic of Kaylee saying that she had a stalker. Jay told me she remembered Kaylee mentioning something about a stalker, but could not remember any of the details. Jay said she last saw Kaylee the weekend of October 3rd when she came for a visit and attended the University of Idaho football game. Jay said that she also visited Kaylee around the weekend of June 14th and did not think Kaylee mentioned having a stalker on either of these weekends. Jay thought the topic was brought up sometime during the previous school year in May. I asked Jay if Kaylee shared any information with her of having problems with anyone, and she said no. Jay told me that she did not know of anyone who did not like Kaylee or would have it out for her. I asked Jay if Kaylee mentioned having any potential love interests or said she was seeing anybody. And Jay told me that she last saw Kaylee on the weekend of October 3rd, 2022. Kaylee said she was not seeing anyone or sleeping with anyone. I asked Jay what she knew about JD. That's her ex. Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. Jay told me Kaylee and Jack both loved each other and did not have any hard feelings against one another. Jay said Jack and Kaylee started dating when they were younger and Kaylee broke up with Jack so he could grow up a bit and experience other things. Jay said at first the breakup was hard for Jack, but they remained friends. Jay said she did not know the other roommates that well who lived with Kaylee. Well, I guess that's another one that doesn't know Maddie very well, that's but that's a kinda different because this person's not local, she's from out of town, so she would just come and, it sounds like a visitor, they would just you know what I'm saying? With that other guy, him being a neighbor to him, but, I mean, I guess that happens, huh? That makes 2 people that sounds like don't really know Maddie, but know Kaylee, that are friends with Kaylee. Jay said she Jay said when she visited during the weekend of October 3rd, there were a bunch of people at Kaylee's house, but no one stood out. Jay told me she was with CW and handed the phone to C so I could speak with her. Whoever that is. Let's see. The CW or O? I think it is. I told C I had spoke with R about the lunch that they had with Kaylee and the topic of the stalker. C says she and her friends have all discussed the stalker topic and could not remember exactly what was said. I asked C if there was anyone Kaylee spoke to her about and she said no. C told me she graduated from the university last year, was not in Moscow, and did not spend that much time with Kaylee. C said that she did not know anyone who did or she didn't know anyone who did not like Kaylee or had it out for her, and she did not know Kaylee's roommates. I thank C for speaking with me. C gave the phone back to Jay, who told me I should speak with Kaylee's friend NG, and said N and Kaylee spent a lot of time together. Says what C and J both provided me with their current addresses. I thank both of them for speaking with me, told them to contact us if they remembered anything else. My conversations with R, J, and C were all recorded and are copied to DVD and book and to MPD evidence. If I ever go quiet for a minute, I'm just taking a sip of water. Okay. On 11/15, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for Queen Road based off the following information as well as previous investigation. Based off information, Officer House and I responded to Queen Road at approximately 10 a.m., walked on the common walkway in front of the door to that's the hoodie guy's apartment and observed the exterior of the door. The area around the door had numerous spots of dried fluid, which appeared to be rust drops from a metal roof above the apartment door. Am I reading the same thing? Huh. I guess it's a different one. These drops were mainly on the wall next to the door, not on the frame itself. I observed what appeared to be fluid spots on the door, 8 inches up. This sounds like the same one. Hold on a second. Is this? Just want to see something. Huh. Yeah, it's different document, but it's just this same account from let's see if there's anything new in it though, because this is interesting to me that they found these blood and stuff on the one person that at the time before they caught Kohberger, we were all like very like our eyes were all on him. So the plate was clean, the dead bullet plate looked like it was polished silver, had no dirt on it. Okay. I walked away from the door in order to conduct an interview on a possible witness. Officer House and several members of the ISP unit to include Detective Hugh Powell walked back to Queen Road. I met back up with Officer House and Detective Powell a short time later, and they told me they believed the spot of dried fluid on the door displayed similar characteristics of blood. The spot displayed cracking texture, common blood dries. So this, yeah, okay. Oh wait, so the video is infrared. That's displayed in black and white. 350 times. Figure clad in dark clothing can be seen walking from building which houses Queen Road. Figure walks to the west at the parking lot. So that would, yeah, okay. And leaves the frame of the video as the figure enters the sidewalk area between the two other apartment buildings. Okay. And then the terminus of this sidewalk is immediately east of 1122 King Road. Okay. So huh. Um right, okay. Oh. On 12/13 at 8, I interviewed SP in Idaho at blank. P had called me several days earlier to report some information he had regarding quadruple homicide. I asked P if the information he'd be sharing would be dealing with one person, and he told me it would. I asked P if I could get the individual's name, and P told me the person's name was G or G, later identified as GM 2003, whatever. Oh, this was to be a birthday. It says P told me he did not know the individual's last name, but believed he knew where he lived. Wait, but isn't that too? Hold on. Name was G or huh? But I mean, why? If he's saying that he doesn't know the individual's last name, but look, he's got the two initials GM. Huh? I'm confused. Anyway, so but believed he knew where he lived. P told me he lived in the blank apartments. P told me this apartment is just off of blank avenue, then turn onto blank lane and then right onto blank street. And then the apartment is across from um okay. Well, we can't I was gonna say let's try to figure out where it is, but it's like they'd have it redacted the name of the road, even the name. Apartment's just off of blank avenue, then turn blank lane, and then right onto blank street. The apartment is across from. All right. P began by explaining to me that he had done a lot of work for DK. Huh? Who's DK, guys? Who is the prior owner of? Okay. Prior owner of what? Like, they redacted everything. Prior owner of the King Road house or what? P told me he has been a friend of the family for many years and has done handyman jobs in the past for D. P told me in 2020 he drove D, his daughter, L, and G up to blank. So up to blank to a place the family goes to have a vacation almost every year. P told me that after they got there, R, who is one of D's sisters, got into an altercation with a male who was camped near where they were. Huh. So D is one of blank sisters. Okay. Wow. Hmm. I'm not. Hold on. Do you guys who SP is? Huh. So G. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to reach that for a minute. Okay, see if we could figure out any of this. Anyway, P began explaining to me that he had done a lot of work for DK, who is the prior owner of blank. P told me he has been a friend of the family for many years and has done handyman jobs in the past for DP. Oh my God. Told me in 20, oh no, who's done past jobs for D. And then it says P told me in 2020 he drove D, his daughter, L, and G up blank to blank, I don't know, to a place the family goes to have a vacation almost every year. P told me after they got there, R, who is one of D's sisters, got into an altercation with the male who was camped near where they were. P told me it was a heated argument, but everyone eventually went back to their campsites. P told me later in the evening he noticed R and L were walking past the male's campsite. So he went up. So went up on the hill where he could observe and make sure nothing was going to happen. He told me that he had been up on the hillside for several minutes in the dark when all of a sudden G just appeared out of nowhere. P told me it startled him for a minute because he never heard or saw where G came from. Man, imagine how scared. Well, I'd be freaked out. Just appears all of a sudden, just appeared. P told me G pulled out a knife to show him. What? Wow. P told me this was hunting style knife. P told me he had spoken to G, who had showed a great interest in having a career in the military. I asked P if he could describe the knife to me, and P told me it was a typical, so what does it say, 7-inch blade hunting skinning knife. P told me he had P told me he had heard that G grades in school had dropped and that L had been extremely verbally abusive to him. Huh. Oh, okay. So they're saying that G guy that showed him a knife, his grades in school had dropped. And that L had been extremely verbally abusive to him. Whoever L and G are. I asked L and G, I asked how L and G would travel to Moscow from Boise. P told me he believed they would ride the bus when they traveled. P told me when they stayed in Moscow at D's house, G and his sister would stay in the basement and L would sleep outside or in one of the two sheds in the backyard. Huh. P told me the significance of this was that G would keep his knives in the basement of D's house in the wood pile that was outside or in one of the two sheds in the backyard. Huh. Pete told me around the end of May or sometime into the middle of June, after COVID was letting up, he was at the Mad Greek having a late lunch or early dinner. Pete told me this was on Saturday or Sunday. Pete told me that he ordered a glass of wine, which he is unsure that Ethan brought him. Huh? Oh, because did he work there? Which he's unsure that Ethan brought him. He told me he is not sure if Ethan worked at Mad Greek or was just helping out. I was saying he is sure that Ethan brought him. So okay. So he went to Mad Greek. He is sure that Ethan is the one that brought him his drink out. Huh. Um, where am I at? Sorry, I keep losing track. So he's unsure if Ethan worked at Mad Greek or was helping out. And P told me a bit later he noticed that G had come into the restaurant with possibly D, who is G's cousin. P told me Xana and Madison had gone over to G's table and Ethan later joined them. Huh. So so yeah, they went over. So basically Xana and Madison went over to this G's table. E- Ethan later joined him. This G is the one that freaking showed him the knife and was what was the other weird thing he did? Wait, what else was it? There's something else that was like, "What?" Just appeared out of nowhere. Like, remember? He just appeared out of nowhere and, huh, interesting. Okay. Sorry, just rereading that because I just wanted to remind myself, like, why do I get a weird feeling about him? Okay, so where are we at? P told me at around oh, I already read that. So, yeah, then he would keep his knife that was another thing. He'd keep his knives in a wood pile or in the basement or in one of the 2 sheds. Well, I guess I don't know. Alright, so he told me it appeared to be a heated conversation, but he could not tell what it was about. P suspected it may have to do with the cancel culture, huh? And that G was stirring them up with conservative comments. P told me G left without eating anything. What? Later that night, around 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., P was at D's house in his backyard, and P said that L was extremely drunk and she was yelling at G. P said she stated, um, "You are just a loser." Uh, that L was extremely drunk and she was yelling at G. Okay. She called him a loser. Um, and you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. What? Huh. You're ruining your life. P was not sure what L was referencing when she said this. P told me G left right after this altercation and he did not see him again. P told me G goes on long walks and does not return until the early morning hours. Huh. What do you guys make out of that? Interesting, interesting. I guess, like, for the time, when they're trying to investigate this case and they don't know yet, that could have been something that they were like, okay, this could have some kind of, importance. Huh. All right. Where are we at? P told me that he was over at D the next morning picking up some tarps from a job he had been doing, and G showed up. P told me he asked G what he does after he leaves when his mom is yelling at him. G told him he goes over to the college. He told me G believes the college is to blame for how his mom is. P explains that D or the L went to parties at the college and began drinking. P told me he does not know for sure, but believes that L may have been art at one of the college parties. What? Wow. Huh. So, but how is that? So his mom is yelling at him. His mom told G what he does after he leaves, and his mom is, huh? He told me he asked G about the conversation that took place at the Mad Greek restaurant. He said that G told him that he had followed the girls to the Mad Greek from the college. What? Wow. So basically, this G guy is telling this person that they're talking to that he'd followed the girls to the Mad Greek from the college. G told P that the two girls were lesbians. G told P he had went back to the girl's house, and when they came home, he was inside the house and made the statement, "They had no idea that I was there. I could have killed them all if I had wanted to." What? So what? He went back to the girl's house, basically just went in and then waited, and when they came home, he was inside the house and said they had no idea I was there, I could have killed them? What? This is true. It's like, wow, unless the I mean, we see that some people are just make up things. So I don't know if this is true or not, but what the heck? Okay. P told me G then went and got a larger knife from out of the back and shed and showed him. Wow. If this is true, that I mean, you need to keep an eye on this guy. P told me every time he was around G and G's mom would explode on him, and he was always stayed very calm and would not react to her. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so digital audio recorded. Audio will be booked into DVD, booked into property November 16th, 2022 at around 11:55 a.m. I meet with B. So with Bethany at her blank office at blank, present during the interview beside me, and B were her blank and blank and Matthew. When with Nevada State Police Investigation Division. This was a follow up interview with Bethany related to the homicide. I asked Bethany who had the front door code, and she told me the following people had the door code. So herself, Dylan, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, JM. That's probably Maddie's boyfriend, Jake. Something I forget his last name. I'm guessing. Um, is that CC? I don't know. LM, Hunter, EA is Hunter's girlfriend, which is, Xana's really good friend too, that EA. JL, I don't know who that is. Oh, okay. So all those people have the code. Bethany stated the above named people were the only ones she knew had the code. Bethany stated the code for the front door was the same code from the year before. I asked Bethany what the code was, and she stated it was. Bethany stated Maddie was the only roommate who lived in the residence the year before. So what? I mean, I wonder if they could have changed it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It might be smart to like change it every year, but Bethany stated her, Dylan, and Kaylee moved in around August 2022. So, Bethany stated Ethan had his own apartment, but she was not sure where it was located. Bethany stated Maddie kept her same room from the year before. Maddie's room was located on the third floor on the east side of the residence next to the bathroom. I asked Bethany about Murphy's routine. Murphy was Kaylee's dog she had purchased when she was still dating Jack. Bethany stated Kaylee would primarily take Murphy out, but Maddie would also help. Bethany stated they never just left the door open because he would run away, would have to use so they would have to use a leash when they took him out. Bethany stated Murphy would not bark that often and was very friendly. Bethany stated Murphy would primarily sleep in Kaylee's room, and if Kaylee was not home, he would be left in the room. Aw. But see, now I'm confused because they said they always took him out on a leash. Well, it sounds like, does it not sound like when they even that night, when he wouldn't come back or Murphy was in the, by the bushes and wouldn't come when called? Doesn't that sound like that he wasn't on the leash then? You know what I'm saying? Like that night when it happened and then prior occurrences they said it would happen where he wouldn't come, he was like back there with whoever that was. Does that not, and I don't know, that to me sound like it wasn't a leash, which is not a big deal, but I mean, she's saying that they would basically, wait, how did she word it? Would not bark that often. They would never leave it open. They would just because he would run away and they'd have to use a leash when they took him out. Kaylee was not home. He would be left in the room. Okay. I asked Bethany about the Uber driver Maddie and Kaylee used on a regular basis. Bethany stated that Kaylee knew him from other blank who used him on a regular basis. Bethany stated they would either contact the Uber driver through the app or contact him directly. Bethany stated the Uber driver was very friendly and was always nice to everyone, and everybody trusted him. Bethany was able to tell me that the Uber driver was married and his wife had just had a baby. Aww. Bethany told me he drove a small car, possibly gray or black, but she could not tell more about the car. I asked Bethany who in the house had a boyfriend, and Bethany told me Xana was dating Ethan, Dylan was dating a boy named Q, who lived in Boise and went to BSU. Maddie was dating a JS. That's his last name. Oh, wait, one of those was S. That's right. So the one guy that's hoodie guy is JS. They have the same initials. So shoot, now that makes me want to go back all that time. Like, which one was which, guys? Well, we know the one that called and left a voicemail was the hoodie guy. Because remember, he said he was with her that night. He was with him that night. And he was at the grub truck with him. So that JS was for sure hoodie guy. But the one, this is where I have a question. The one with the blood on the apartment that lived in Queen Road I think that was hoodie guy too, to be honest, because he wouldn't have been home then. He would have been at his parents. I know he lived really close to the King Road house, and I'm pretty sure Maddie's boyfriend doesn't even live in town. So, but let's just make a note. We got to keep that in mind because if we see a JS, it could possibly be Maddie's boyfriend. Okay. But like I said, Maddie wasn't dating hoodie guy though. Yeah. I was saying, do you remember? So this will answer it for sure. Maddie's boyfriend, what was his last name? Okay, JR, you confused me there a minute because I know she had a boyfriend and his name was, I think, was Jake. So I just think they have the same initials, is what I think. Yes, okay. Confused me for a minute, J. Roy. I was like, wait, am I getting what? Now I'm really confused. Yeah, so we just got to keep that in mind. But now that I'm thinking about what we just read from the details, what we just read was hoodie guy because of like what it said. Because we know her boyfriend doesn't live in town. So yeah, so the one that lived on Queen. So there's nothing. So everything was accurate that we said today. So, but we just got to keep that in mind if we see another initials that he has the same freaking initials as hoodie guy. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, so it says right there who lived in Boise. Oh my god. Okay, so Kaylee was dating JD, but had recently broke up with him. Kaylee was possibly hanging out with MB, B stated M was Xana's big in the Greek. Okay. So Kaylee was possibly hanging out with M. B or MB. So Bethany said that M, the person that Kaylee was kind of seeing, was Xana's big in the Greek system. Wait, does when they're big be the same sex? Now I'm getting really confused. Because she's saying Kaylee was dating JD, but had recently broke up with him. Kaylee was possibly hanging out with M. Don't they mean like when they say possibly hanging out with M, aren't they meaning like seeing him? Because I remember she was seeing another guy. Is that what they're saying? But it says Xana's big. I swear it would be a girl. Help me out, guys. Okay, so B stated M was Xana's big in the Greek system. B stated that, or Bethany stated the relationship was new and that they had never stayed over at the house, but Kaylee had stayed with him possibly more than once. Bethany stated Kaylee was also talking to an ER, also a blank. Bethany stated she did not have a boyfriend, but did mention she was kind of hanging out with KD, who is a blank, but they were not serious. Because it says it says that Bethany stated M was Xana's big in the Greek, and I think they're referring to M right here. That, or am I wrong? See, this is where it sucks with all these initials because, okay, this M, maybe this M isn't this person, but I'm thinking because they said it right after. So when they say Kaylee's possibly hanging out with M, and then it says Bethany stated M was Xana's big in the Greek system. That's what I was referring. If like, is their bigs going to be opposite sex though? Well, I was thinking that it was always like for instance, her big would be another person in her same sorority, or is it not always the same? Oh, maybe she was hooking up with the girl. I don't know. Maybe she was. Maybe M is a girl then. I'm so confused. I don't know, guys, but oh well. I guess we'll never. I mean, there's too many little details. I wish they would just at least give us first names. Um, these initials, because how many people are going to have the same name with the same letter? How many E's? How many M's? How many S's? Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I would have thought, J Ray. I kept calling you J Roy, J Ray. Oh my lord. All right. I asked Bethany if she ever heard of, and then you can't even tell when they've redacted if this is a C or an O. I don't know. I'm going to go with C. So she has never heard of CG. Bethany stated she knew of C, and he was also a blank. And when these ones are like, I think they're naming a fraternity, like whatever their fraternity members are. So he was also a whatever, what fraternity. Okay. Bethany stated C was a nice guy and knew D. I know this is so stupid. So why are they even bringing up? She knew a lot of C and was wait, why are they bringing up C though? C is which one? Hold on. She's not even brought up here. So why? Huh. So anyway, whoever C is, they said that C. Wait, hold on. Also, she stated that C was a nice guy and knew D. So D, I think this D is the one that Bethany's kind of talking to. And you know what else is confusing? So they'll initially do the initials, and then they'll call them by their last name, but not all the time. Sometimes they do say the first name. So it's like, dude, when we're just getting one letter, it's so confusing. It could be O. Yeah, I don't know, J Ray. I have no idea if it's J or O. I don't know. Or C or O. Why did I say J? This is getting kind of funny because it's so ridiculous. Okay, I asked Bethany, or wait, I just read that. Oh yeah, okay, she stated she did not. So I asked Bethany if she knew CB. Which one's None of these. Okay. And she stated she did not. I asked Bethany if she knew the person behind Kaylee and Maddie on the grub truck video. Bethany said she did not know who the person was. I asked Bethany if she knew a guy by the name of S. This is probably a hoodie guy. They're calling him by his last name. I'm thinking. I don't know because Bethany said she did not know him, but stated she had heard from a friend of Maddie's. She's heard of him. Okay. S I don't know, that her boyfriend JF, also a blank, that he would never want to get in a fight with S as he had anger issues. So I think that's hoodie guy they're talking about. I asked Bethany about who paid for the Spectrum Wi-Fi. Bethany told me it was Kaylee who paid for the account. Bethany told me the login for the password was blank and the Wi-Fi name was blank. Bethany stated she did not know what the actual username and login was for the account. I asked Bethany if she knew of anyone who had gotten asked to leave any of the parties thrown at the house. Bethany stated 2 guys from the blank house, JH and another guy, only she knew as R, got in a fight and were told to leave. B stated this fight occurred about a month before the incident at the house. So 2 guys from the house, JH and another guy she knew as R, got in a fight and were told to leave. Okay, at the house. So they were at their house, the King Road house, and they got in a fight and then they were asked to leave. Okay. I asked Bethany about an AC or AO. I don't freaking know. I think it's AC. Bethany said A used to live at the house but moved out. I asked Bethany who used the bathroom or who used the bedroom on the west end of the first floor. Bethany stated Kaylee and Maddie used the room as an office. Bethany stated Kaylee would use it for her work and it had a computer in it. I asked Bethany if any other girls who lived in the house had jobs. Bethany told me Maddie and Xana both worked at Mad Greek on Main Street. Bethany told me Kaylee worked for an online company and worked from home. Bethany did not know who the company was. Bethany told me Maddie also looked for an online company, but it was not the same company. Bethany said the company Maddie worked for was out of Boise, and during the summer, she had worked for them in their office in Boise. I asked Bethany about the drug use in the house and who used. Bethany told me Ethan and Xana both took Adderall when they drank alcohol. Bethany told me she saw Ethan and Xana both use Adderall the night before the murders. See, you guys, I was right. That blue powder, I'm telling you, I was willing to do a bet on that. I knew it was Adderall because it's blue. It tastes like blue sugar when you snort it. And obviously, they were snorting it because they said they found the rolled up dollar bills and blue residue. And so like the Adderall blue pills are instant release. So like when they're instant release, you're able to, break it up and snort instant releases. And so like a lot of people snort the Adderall blue ones. And they taste like blue sugar. They're like sweet when you snort them. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's like sugar, and then you got blue sometimes all in your nose. But yeah, but a lot of college kids do. I feel like Adderall is a big thing on campuses. Anyway, Bethany told me she saw Anthony, or oh my God, where did I get Anthony? I can't even do this. Yes, J Ray. Yep. See, in college, I used to do a lot of Adderall like that before I even tried meth. But you're right. It's the same. It's college. It's like meth for rich people, or no, I don't know. You don't even have to be rich, but it's like meth for I don't even say how would you word it? It's like the same. It's almost like the same buzz, but it's because I don't even want to say rich because you don't have to be rich, but yeah, I guess college. You could just say college, but it's not. Some people are just even use it that aren't in college. Trying to think of a good meth for what would be a good way to word it? I mean, before you because you start out using these. Like I didn't go right to meth and heroin. That progressed from, you know what I'm saying? It progresses to that. So, um, more readily available, cheaper. The meth is, I feel like, more readily available and cheaper, to be honest. But I guess it depends on who you know, though, Jay, right? Ray, on that, because think about it. If like you're in the circle of friends in the college circle of friends, it's probably more easier to get um Adderall. But if you know people that are or surrounded by people that do meth or have know people that sell it or whatever, that would be more available. So I guess it just depends who you know, where you live, and it could depend on I would say when you're in college, you probably would have easier time finding Adderall. But who knows these days? Because my college life, I was that was how many years ago? Like 20 years ago. So I don't know these days on college campuses if meth is more readily available. But when 20 years ago or more, 25 years ago, it wasn't. That's when I was in college. It wasn't meth. You know what I'm saying? Meth is growing. I feel like it's becoming more prevalent as the years go by. So I don't know what college campuses are like now. Who knows? But meth is a cheaper alternative. Just put it that way. Um. Anyway, math is tough. What? Purpose. Exactly. I know I would do coke, but it was super sketchy and expensive, and I just got out on stuff because people just. Yeah. Yeah. When I was in college, yeah, everybody had Adderall too, and you didn't really see meth. I mean, because I guess you weren't looking for it, so you're not asking and like, hey, but I don't know these days. Jerry, when were you in college? How long ago? Because it could be a whole different game. Now I'm sure obviously Adderall is still around too, but I just wonder if meth is more prevalent than it was when we were in college. Math is readily available in college. Math? Are you trying to put meth last name? I'm so glad though that I'm sober now. I mean, it starts out fun and then it ends up being a really lonely, sad life. Like it took me a while though to get to that point. Like it took me a while. And that's the scary thing is if you're still having fun and you're functional, then you're just going to keep doing it. That's why he says, that's why they always say like hitting rock bottom is actually like a blessing in disguise because it takes hitting your lowest of lows to make that change and get better. So if you don't hit that rock bottom and hit like a horrible time, then you never have that much, what is it called? Whatever to actually get better. But when you do, when you're that bad, then it's like there's nowhere up to go but up, or there's nowhere to go but up. Does that make sense? So it's actually for people like addicts, it's good that you hit your rock bottom because then you could come out of it. If that even makes any sense. Did that make any sense for people that could relate? Oh, you're a lot younger than me. So what? Okay, so maybe it's still not. So I was saying, like, I have no idea what college life is like in 20. How old am I? That's so scary to think 25. Well, let me take that back. I started college in 2000. Okay, I was in Bowling Green for 3 years. Long story, but I ended up quitting, and it wasn't because I was doing bad or anything. It was just I've told the story with financial stuff and stuff, but and then I met a guy, lived with him, he died, and then I ended up moving back home with my family after that happened, right? That was like after 3 or 4 years living in, the first 2 years on campus. The second year was like right off campus, but right, right like but in the college town. And then I moved to Toledo with Larry. Then he died. And then I moved home because I moved back with my parents because like, whoa. And then it took me, I got a job and I got back into school. So I don't remember what year how long it took me, maybe a year after he died. Then I ended up getting back in school at the college here. So I ended up finishing here. So I don't, I don't know, but it's still like 20, 15 years. I think when I graduated, it would have been I mean, I'm gonna shut up. I'm not making any sense. Okay, let me finish this here. Um, oh, oh wow. I know I have a lot of people that didn't. My sister didn't. My boyfriend didn't. I've had friends. Actually, you know what's crazy? Like another one of uh Bryan, another boyfriend of mine. Actually, the guy, my first boyfriend after no, it wouldn't have been my first boyfriend after Larry died. It would never mind. I dated Jerry and then I don't know, but a little while after the Bryan, a couple years ago, I was looking him up because I was trying to show somebody a picture or something, and then I found out he freaking died drugs too. So like a few years ago, it's like, dang it. And then like friends from college, you're on Facebook and you see they're like, oh my God, Brendan died. Oh my God. It's like everybody, all this drug is crazy. Um, well, you are young. You're about 10 years younger than me. Okay. Dude, 33 was my year when that was when my rock bottom started hitting 33. I remember I have these journals, okay, that I used to write in when I was using. And I remember when I was turning 33, I said in my journal, I even wrote in my journal, I said something like, man, 33 is going to be a good year. It's going to be, changes, blah, blah, blah. 33 ended up being my worst freaking year. Horrible. Became homeless. Sister died. Dog died. Worst year of my life. And it's crazy because at the beginning of it, I thought it was gonna be the best. And, but that's when my rock bottom started brewing, you know what I'm saying? Where it started, where then I was able to help myself. But yeah, that's crazy. It was when like after that year, I realized, man, I need to make a change. Now it took me a couple falls before I actually was able to stand up and get and do it. But it's when I had the mindset as like, okay, I got to do this. It was when at 30. Wow, that's crazy. Well, how long have you been sober, Jerry? All right, let me continue this. All right, so we're talking about Adderall. So they did some that night before the murders. Bethany told me she saw Ethan take a pill and she saw Xana crush up a pill and snort it by using a rolled up bill in her room. Bethany also said she thought Kaylee also used Adderall, but was not sure. I asked Bethany if she had any issues from any of the other people who live around them. Bethany stated besides the 3 to 4 noise complaints, there were no other issues. Bethany told me Kaylee would look up who the registered SOs were who lived in the area. Well, responsible. I mean, that's good. That's really good to look it up and um um hold on one second. Mama Mia, how are you doing? Okay. Um so she would look up who the registered SOs are, who live close to them, and the blew up or wait. So she looked up who lived in the area. Bethany stated Kaylee had found some registered SOs who lived close to them in the blue apartments on Queen. Kaylee stated he was older in his 30s to 40s. Bethany stated Kaylee was looking at the SO registry within the week or so before the murders. Wow. Bethany stated Kaylee was into crime shows. Bethany stated there was nothing that happened to prompt her to look up the SO registry. I asked Bethany about 2 other incidents where Kaylee had mentioned some weird things had happened. Bethany told me about an incident at Winco where a male had followed her around the store, watched her check out, and then followed her to her vehicle. Xana was waiting in the vehicle. Bethany stated Kaylee said the male was African American and in his late 20s. Bethany felt it happened sometime before Halloween, so mid to late October. Bethany stated Kaylee purchased a case of White Claws for Xana. Bethany and her roommates had found the door open on November 4th at around 10:57 a.m. and they entered the house and grabbed golf clubs out of the west first floor bedroom. Bethany and other roommates walked around the house with golf clubs to check the house. Kaylee was not home for this incident as she had gone home for the weekend. Wind was blowing and the screws on the hinges were loose, and Xana's dad fixed it before he left that weekend. Kaylee told everyone about an incident where she saw a male watching her when she had taken Murphy out back to go to the bathroom. Bethany could not remember when this happened, but she could not provide an actual day. Bethany stated she had been at chapter meeting at the time Kaylee had them asking if they were going to be home soon. Um, the following is a timeline of events on November 12th to November 13th. Bethany stated she was the last one in the house to wake up. And when she got up, Ethan was in the house in the living room, and Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Xana were all gone. Bethany felt she got up sometime between 10 and 11 in the morning. Bethany said she checked her Find My Friends app and saw that they were at Taco Bell at the time. Once Kaylee and Dylan and Maddie and Xana got back, they started getting ready for the day. Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Bethany were in the Kaylee's room and they were getting ready for a party at Taylor Street, the Whites. The house belonged to B, S, and K. The apartment is located on the second floor of the far east side of the apartment building. Bethany stated this was between 11 to 12 in the afternoon. Bethany stated Kaylee left for the Whites before the rest of the group. Bethany stated she left at around 2 with Maddie, Dylan, Xana, Ethan, H or Hunter, and Jay, whatever. Bethany stated that she started drinking at 11:30, 12 when still at 1122 King Road. Bethany stated she was drinking mimosas and high noons throughout the night. Bethany also stated she also played a drinking game called Rage Cage later in the night. Bethany felt she drank a 12-pack of high noons during the night, 2 mimosas, and a standard wine glass. Bethany was unsure of what she had been drinking when she played Rage Cage. Bethany stated she was at the Whites up until around 3:48 hours when she left with Xana. Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan stayed at the Whites. Ethan had left before her and Xana. Bethany and Xana went to AB's place somewhere on Taylor. Bethany and Xana left there at around 16 or about 4:51. Went back to 1122 King Road. Bethany, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan were all at the house and made food. Ethan was not at the house during this time. At around 6, Bethany, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan all went to take a nap, and they all set alarms for 8 o'clock. Bethany got up at 8. Once they all woke up, they got ready to go and to the blank house party. Maddie and Bethany left first to go to P's apartment at Blank's at around 9 p.m. Kaylee stayed home and was not going to go to the party at Blank's. Ethan and Xana came over to the party after Bethany and Maddie. Dylan did not come with the rest and walked over at a later time. Maddie was not there for very long and she went back to the house to go to the club with Kaylee. Bethany felt Maddie left sometime at 9:09. One of Bethany's friends, YA, got to the Blank and hung out with her. Bethany stated Y showed up around 10. They stayed in one of the apartments for a little longer, and she and Y went up to the main house for the Blank fraternity. Bethany stated this might have been around 22, so around 10:30 to 10:45. Bethany states he hung out in the main part of the house for a while, and before she left the Blank fraternity, she saw Ethan, Xana, in P's apartment. Bethany stated this was at around 12:17 a.m. Bethany and Y went to A's house again on Taylor. Bethany stated her, J, H, K, and Y were only the one at the house. That's my chair, guys. I put my feet on the bottom and it made I switched my chair to this chair is so much more comfortable, but then it has that really unique noise that it makes that I hate because I can't control it. But it's so comfortable. Okay, and we're the only one in the house. Wait. Hold on. Bethany stated she walked home at around 1 a.m. and Dylan and L were the only one in the house. Bethany, Dylan, and Elle were watching Vampire Diaries for a while, and at around 1:22 a.m., Elle left. Dylan went to her room after Elle left. At around 2 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie came home. Maddie, Kaylee, Dylan, and Bethany went up to Kaylee's bedroom once they got home. Kaylee was getting ready for bed as they were hanging out in her room. Bethany, Maddie, and Dylan went downstairs, and Maddie and Bethany took Murphy outside to let him go to the bathroom. Bethany only stayed outside for a short time, and then she went back into the house and put something away in her cupboard and grabbed a bag of chips. Huh. Bethany went downstairs to go to bed. Bethany stated nothing was unusual about Maddie and Bethany's demeanor when they got home. Bethany stated they both appeared to be happy. It's supposed to be Kaylee, I bet. Oh, Maddie and Kaylee's a typo. Bethany said Maddie was highly intoxicated and she had not seen her at the level of intoxication for a very long time. Bethany said she went to bed and she was using her iPad to watch the TV show off of Hulu. Bethany said she was watching Baby Daddy. Bethany could not remember what episode she was watching or how long she was watching it. As she was watching the show, Maddie came downstairs and asked her if she had Murphy with her because she could not find him. Bethany told her no. Bethany said her door was locked and she normally locks her door when she goes to bed. Bethany told me she eventually turned off the show and her iPad and went to sleep. Bethany said she woke up after falling asleep to hearing what she felt was a firecracker go off, and then she thought she saw a sparkler going off through the crack under her door. Bethany stated she did not know what happened. Either Bethany called Dylan, or I see what they're saying. They're saying either Bethany called Dylan or Dylan called Bethany. And Dylan stated she thought she had just seen someone dressed in all black in the house. I want to know how close to that time was that and the firecracker noise. You know what I'm saying? Because she's saying the firecracker happened and then one of them called and she said she saw a man in all black, because that would have been as he was leaving. Or was it like 20? You know what I'm saying? Was it when he first came in? Bethany said Xana had been wearing all black. Dylan responded by saying she thought he had a ski mask on. Bethany said she didn't really know what to say to what Dylan said. Bethany admitted both her and Dylan get scared easy. Bethany even thought maybe one of Ethan's frat brothers could have been playing a joke. Bethany told Dylan to come down to her room, and Dylan ran down to her room. Bethany tried calling Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan's phone, and nobody answered. Bethany said it was normal for Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan to not answer if they were sleeping, if she called late at night. Bethany looked at her phone, and it showed Bethany called Dylan at 4:19 and at 4:20. Okay, so that's what time she called. So that's the time she heard the sparkler. So that would have been after the murders. Okay. Oh, yeah, after. Wait. Yeah, that's right. We don't know if she called right away after she heard that noise, huh? We just know when she called, Dylan talked about the person being in black. So of course that would have been after the murders. Wow. Anyway, so it was at 4:19 at 4:20. Dylan called Bethany back. During the call, Bethany asked Dylan if she heard a firecracker, and Dylan said she did. Bethany could not recall if it was during this call where Dylan was talking about seeing someone in black walking in the house. Oh, okay, I see. She don't know if that was, Once Bethany and Dylan were in the bedroom or in Bethany's room together, they continued to talk about what they heard and saw. Bethany told me Dylan said the male in black was walking out the back door. They had made eye contact with each other, possibly holding a small vacuum type object. Bethany and Dylan did not call 911 at the time because Bethany thought Dylan was imagining what she was talking about. Bethany stated both her and Dylan were both still drunk and they were very groggy. Bethany told me prior to hearing the firecracker, she thought she heard Murphy bark. She also heard what she thought was the beer pong table move and cups falling. Where's the beer pong table? I wonder if he ran into it, and the cups kind of fell on accident. Wow. But where is the beer pong table? Wow. The beer pong table. Oh, here it is. The answer is always the next sentence if I just wait. The beer pong table is located in the living room, which is above Bethany's bedroom. Bethany said she was not sure what the sequence of events were for sure, but she also knows she heard Murphy bark. The beer pong table and then the firecracker. Whoa. Wait, Murphy bark. Then the beer pong table. Okay. But wait, that doesn't make sense because she said the firecracker thing woke her up. Didn't she? So when the firecracker, she heard a, I don't know. And then the firecracker first before she called Dylan to see if she had heard the same thing. So he barked the beer pong table. So wonder when if Xana did go upstairs, he chased her back down. Wonder if he ran into the pong table trying to chase her back down, or if Xana did. I don't freaking know. Bethany told me that she tried calling Xana and Maddie at 4:21 and then tried calling at 4:22. Bethany says she tried calling Maddie, Kaylee, Xana several more times. Once Dylan got into her room. Bethany told me that when she went to bed, she remembers most of the lights being left on inside the house. Bethany told me after trying to contact the other roommates, she fell back to sleep and then when woke up at 7:30, tried to call her dad about her tooth. Bethany called her dad again at 8 and there was no answer. Her house at 8:01 with no answer, and then called her mom at 8:02 and he answered and asked to talk to her dad. Her dad called back at 8:09 and he talked to him and eventually took Advil for her tooth. Bethany then fell back asleep. Bethany woke up around 11 a.m. and noticed no one else in the house was up. Bethany stated she knew this because Xana's Snapchat location was not on. And it should have been. Bethany and Dylan got scared because they should have been up. Bethany then called her friend Jay and told her she and Dylan were scared and asked if she could come and get them. Dylan then called E and asked her to come over. Dylan and Bethany knew E was with Hunter, so they knew he would come with her. Hunter arrived at the house and came through the front door. Hunter went up the stairs first, and when she and Dylan went up the stairs, Hunter turned around and told Dylan and Bethany to get out of the house and to call for help. Huh. Bethany said she could see Xana on the floor of her bedroom. Wow. Bethany said Xana was wearing underwear and a sweatshirt. B stated that the door was partially open, but stated the door would be closed. Bethany called 911 and was trying to talk to the dispatcher, but was having a hard time. Bethany had to give the phone to her friend Jay so she could talk to the dispatcher. I asked Bethany if she was ever seen Xana on the floor like she did that morning. Bethany told me she has never seen this, but has heard Xana would pass out on the floor in the past when she is highly intoxicated. Bethany told me Hunter went back into the house. Bethany could not remember if Jay and E went into the house. Bethany told me she believed H grabbed a knife from the kitchen and when he went back into the house. Okay. Remember, because then he went to the closet and just tried to make sure there was nobody in the room. But then the cops ended up coming. Everybody ended up coming and having him go out before he even had time to go upstairs and check on Kaylee and Maddie. Which is weird because that goes against what Steve said. Steve Gonzalez said he did go up. So yeah, I don't know. That wasn't accurate. And he did say the door was shut. Xana's door was shut too. Steve said he knocked to make sure. And that he said that, remember right after all that came out, the 911 call and stuff, he did an interview and said that he taught like the Hunter called him and told him he went upstairs too and saw the but that's not even true, huh? Um, then I don't think Hunter lied. I think Steve just probably got it mixed up or something. I don't think he huh. Anyway, all right. 88. December 22nd. I was tasked with reinstalling the exterior camera known as the light bulb camera at King Road to capture some comparison video and audio. I contacted one of the tenants, TL, who gave me permission to access her residence and conduct the recording. Upon arrival, I unplugged the power to the current router and removed the camera from the light socket on the exterior of the residence. I then powered on the router I had secured from the residence earlier and installed the camera I secured as evidence earlier into the light socket. While installing the camera, I hear a crack and felt the light bulb base mount become loose. It should be noted the approximate temperature outside while installing the camera was between 5 and 9 degrees. I previously had installed a new SD card into the camera powered on the router and camera at the Moscow Police Department to ensure the camera was functional. I then was able to monitor the camera using the Humai Pro app on my phone. Brett Payne was able to drive a white-collared vehicle into the view of the camera. Sergeant Blaker parked a vehicle near the residence and closed the doors and trunk on the vehicle for audio comparison. Huh. A canine unit from Lewis County was utilized to capture barking audio comparison from the residence. Upon completion of the data collection, I powered off the evidentiary router and removed the camera from the light socket. In doing so, the base detached from the camera and wire became disconnected. I gathered the router and camera, placed them back into their evidentiary bags, and returned them to secure computer forensic labs. I reinstalled the current camera and reconnected the power to the new router, contacted to ensure the camera, okay, and responded in the affirmative. Dude, what if this might be a stupid thought? I'm just trying to figure out the firecracker and what if Bryan tried to like use something to try to get Murphy outside so he didn't bother him, interrupt him. So what if he's the one that opened that front door, made some kind of noise, whatever he did with the firecracker to get Murphy's attention and then get him outside? That don't make much sense though, huh? Because why would he keep the door open? Then Murphy could have just went right back in. So that don't make much sense. I just the thing about Murphy, like, yeah, I do think Murphy was probably outside at one point, but if the door was open, that means he could have came back in. I think sometime in the morning he did come back in. Like, I don't get that he didn't go in on the bed and check on Kaylee and that he didn't have blood on him. That's so crazy for some reason, unless he was just scared, but huh. I can't figure that one out. Uh, my jaw, my face is hurting. Huh. Okay, so November 13th, so at 1:47 p.m., I interviewed. This is the same one. It's not though. Look, it's a different one, but this is Bethany's again. What? Wait, 89. Where was Bethany? This one. That's This is I met so wait, at not November 16th, 11:55. It must be a different interview. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is. So this was 3 days after, and then this one was the day of, November 13th at 1:47. That was, like, right then, okay. So at Moscow Police Department, in regards to the death of her few 4 roommates, Bethany was sleeping in her room. Bethany went to the, party at, what, 8:30 with Ethan and Xana. They hung out in the apartment for a while together, went up to the main party, the fraternity. I'm gonna kinda skip through because if it's the same stuff, yeah, the party. Yeah, it was cold now when they took Maddie and them out. This is the same. Should be consistent, if it's the truth. It's all the same. Looks like which the only thing is they both say they woke up at 11, but I swear there was activity on their phone at 10. Because remember we were trying to figure out, okay, they were up at 10, they waited this long to call the cops. Pretty sure it was 10. But I mean, you estimate times, you don't get it perfect. I'm not trying to blame them or anything. I mean, they're drunk the night before. I would have probably got times wrong and All right. Bethany talked about an incident with Keely, who stated about a month ago she saw an unknown male go to their house, staring at her. Yeah. So Bethany stated Keely broke up with her longtime boyfriend 3 months ago, but she was planning on moving to Texas, or because she was planning on moving to Texas. Bethany could not provide me with anything else at this time. Okay. Oh my God, I'm on mute. I was talking. I was talking. Gosh. Anyway, what I was saying is I did a link to Um, I know. I just realized, K girl. I put a link to what I was saying is I did all these documents in 3 videos, okay? I said the one I did a couple days ago, part 2, that's the most interesting one I feel like, had the most interesting documents in it. And then I put a link to it and I said, "Remember, I have timestamps and chapters, but I didn't timestamp every single article. So if you want to hear all the articles, make sure you don't just click on the timestamps because you'll miss ones in between. But I did, and if you do just want to get some of the real more interesting ones in the timestamps, there are timestamps that I feel like help are very helpful. But yeah, this one, the one that I'm linking right now, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend it if you're interested in this case because that has a lot of interesting article or a lot of interesting documents. Even the part 1 was pretty good, had some interesting things too. Part 1 and 2 were the best. This part was very this one wasn't as good because it had like wasn't as many documents, number 1. And I feel like all the good ones were already read, all the more interesting ones. And it had a lot of repeat stuff that was like kind of repetitive. But yeah, I'd recommend that. The first 2. Definitely the one I did a couple days ago is really interesting. But yeah, I hope I gotta go check in the mirror and see how my face is. All right, guys. I don't know what else to say. Um, I read them all, and I'll just wait to see. I did some file requests to see what they release. I don't even know what they're gonna let us have. And then I don't know. Check out. I did my. If you guys didn't see my video before this, I did the second batch of the Erica calls with Wade and Erica. All right, I'm gonna end it though. I don't really have much else to say. I'm hot. Oh, I should turn on my air. Yes. I saw. I listened to it last night. That's what I was saying, man. I was saying, are you mad? I wish I would have freaking wrote to her when I was supposed to. I could have been the one talking to her like last year, and I just slacked. And I just thought I put it off at first because I thought she wasn't getting mail. Remember, they said, "Oh, she's in a so, she kept getting in trouble, so she was like in a very confined thing where she wasn't getting mail." So I kind of like put it off, and then I just wish I would have because I bet you I could have talked to her too, but way before that, instead of freaking all these big corporate channels getting everything. You know what I'm saying? You're like, no, screw that. We could get stuff. You got all the money and people. Well, you know what? I don't know why it makes me mad that they get like they're able to get like they're like so saturating everything. I just miss YouTube the way where how it used to be. It was like it still is, I mean, to a degree, but it was like the choice you had that was different than TV. And now it's becoming like the same as what's on like the TV was. Does that make sense? But I still love it because you get to choose, you get to go through and choose things. But I just, all these big commercialized, big companies just take over everything. Can't they just let something to like, I don't know. Uh, I'm I'm just grumpy. I feel like my face hurts, guys. I wish I wouldn't have used that stuff. But yes, I listened to it all saying it's great. It really is. If I didn't feel like crap right now, I would play it right now, but I just want to go and look at my face. But yes, I listened to it last night. I listened to it like twice because I'm like, just make sure I didn't miss anything. But they are no. What y'all saying? What do you mean? They are no Zav though. Oh, they are no Zav though. Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, I got that. I don't really want to talk about it. It might not even look like anything. It hurts because I got that something from TikTok shop that I rubbed on my face, and I don't know. I don't want to talk about it because I don't know if you remember, like last year, I got some stuff for my face, and then it ended up burning like some spots on my face. If you remember that last year, and I do it again. I don't even know. It might not have left any marks, but I do it again. I put something on my face. I should have tested it on other parts of my body first, but no, I got to be stupid. And now here's the thing. Even if it doesn't, like maybe it didn't, maybe there's not going to be anything on my face. Maybe it just made it like kind of sore. But even if that's the case, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So it's like, I feel like this TikTok shop has all this stuff that they push, and these people that have channels, they're just like, oh my god, it works so good, and they show you, and it's like all a bunch of crap, dude. I don't know how they could sit there. Like, I would never be able to put my name behind something if I didn't feel like it was good. Like, for them to have the product and like swear it works and show you, look, it's worked so good, oh my god, I love it, and then it doesn't work, but then they're the ones that are going to look like the liar. I don't know how people do that. Like, then it's not like you work for like a company and you're just like, you are yourself. Protect, you're yourself. You're just like somebody on TikTok that's you, and you're saying this stuff's awesome. Like, how can you do that if it sucks? I don't get it. I do not get it. No, it's not Botox or anything. It's just to help, I don't know, clean. Yeah, I'm done with it. I keep getting fooled. My mom is freaking finding all this stuff. She used to order a lot on Temu, and then she's finding out that, like, no, I guess that's the opposite. Never mind. That wasn't the bet. That wasn't what I was trying to say. I just got confused. I can't talk. It's one of those days I'm really struggling. Anyway, I'm a grumpy. I think I'm getting PMS again. I swear, I'm always like, it comes. You get like a couple good weeks, and then here it comes around again. It's so annoying. I hate it. Think about it. Sometimes my PMS go up to last like a week to a week and a half, depending if sometimes it does, it's bad, or sometimes it could be like 4 days. But think about that. A week every month. It's just bull crap. Being a woman is bull crap. But then it's like, oh, I can't wait to, go through menopause. But then it's like, no, because I heard that's a freaking challenge in itself. So when do we ever get a break? When do we ever get to just feel not this roller coaster of emotions and just feel normal and not like be like, oh, you get a couple good weeks and then here it comes again, feeling this freaking hormones. And you can tell they're hormones too. Like, there's this feel like, if you're a woman, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You just feel it. You're like, oh, there they come. Anyway, been on. What do you mean? Been on it? Been on what? Been on it? Like PMS? Or what do you mean been on it? I'm talking about before my period, I get it, not when I'm on it. Like the week leading up to it is when I get like the pre, like it's before, or at least mine is. That's when I get it. So I don't know what you mean you've been on it. Can you explain that? Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. What Will came back? What do you mean? What came back? I can't take a lot of most hormones I can't take because I got that clotting disorder. So it's not really an option. So when I go through menopause, I'm just gonna have to deal with it because oh, okay. Oh, my brother. Oh, bad. I see. Sorry, I misread it. Will, I thought you said just back, but you're saying it came back bad. Okay. I missed a word in there. That makes sense. Okay. So you're saying to have low testosterone was making you feel bad. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how, like, just you think, like, how could these little hormones, or I don't know how, like, I don't know if little would be a good description, but just like one thing, like, affect you're so bad. Oh my God. Mama mia. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm mad at myself because as I was using it, I was like, I was like having a fight in my head thinking, why am I doing this? Why? And then I just keep doing it. I'm like, wait, I should just test this on something besides my face. What am I doing? What am I doing? As I keep rubbing it on my face. Ugh. Anyway. All right. Bye, guys. I'm leaving.